5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Bonifay Banter Podcast.
You ain't got no fucking idea what I'll do. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll be ready for your ass. Don't let this old fucking man shoot up.
This is a voicemail Paul left me.
One
You
of
hear
them.
me? I learned you better than that. What the blue fucking hell is going on with your PD? This is the other PD, Paul Bonifay.
Ladies and gentlemen, episode 3 of the Bonifay Banter. Shane sitting diagonal from me, and we got a very special episode for you here today. Shane's uncle, my dad's little brother, Uncle Paul Bonifay. Welcome to the studio, man.
Hell yeah. It's a pleasure to be up here with you boys. My favorite nephews.
We're the favorite out of all of them.
Well, they're all
Other
favorite.
nephews are going to hear this.
I know, but they're all favorite in their special way. Y'all, I don't get to see you much, and it's always a pleasure to be up here around y'all and do something with you, even if it's tearing up your hot water heater.
Oh, man.
The pleasure's ours. Having you here in the studio and getting to do this with you is going to be it's an honor. It's an honor.
I mean, you're pretty much the people's favorite, Paul. Anytime that I posted you through like Thanksgiving through the years of my stories, people loved some Uncle Paul. They would just be asking for it, like more Uncle Paul.
Yeah.
But yeah, we
run
just
hard.
run hard, baby. Talk about running hard. Me and Paul just went to battle with my hot water heater before this episode started. We were in the
Water
trenches.
heater 3, Parks and Paul 1. Yeah, we got maybe 0.
Yeah, I don't even know
It's
how we got a
winning.
point out of that one.
I was going to say it's rude to be like, hey, you want to come up and do a podcast, Paul? And he's like, yeah. And you're like, also bring some tools because we're going to get to work on the water heater.
Well, no, it's not like that because I was up here about a month ago, and Tim was up looking at the AC, and me and a buddy of mine rode our bikes up here just to come up and see him, and the element was bad in his water heater. So we checked and found the element was bad. Didn't have time that day, so this morning when I called him, I said, "Well, gonna come up today. Did you ever get that water heater thing fixed?" No, I should have said
You
no.
really thought I was going to fix that water heater from that month-long time when you were gone?
Well,
Come on, you know me better than that.
A month later, it's still a month and a half later, still not fixed. I would not get around to it. Yeah, I gotta get you one of them round to it coins.
Yeah, so we tried to fix it, and now it doesn't work at all.
And
So
now-
now we have no hot water. Sorry, Paige.
I broke it to where we gotta get a new one in the morning.
Yep.
Classic.
yeah.
That's a Paul job right there.
Well, we put it in 10 or 12 years ago.
You put that one in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
I
put it
didn't
in
know.
for him.
All right.
But
So we can blame it on you why the stuff won't come off, I guess.
I guess I put it together a little tight,
Yeah.
but
It's some guns right there. Tighten up that screw too much.
yeah, back when I was young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, man, you've been seriously such an inspo to like Shane and I. We've been talking. Me and Shane were talking about having you up on the episode for a while, and man, you've taught us like so much stuff through the years. Like even like jumping off. Like one of my favorite things is like when you taught us to jump off the Biotohar Bridge,
yeah,
man.
that was special. Y'all
Put that mic right in front of your face.
y'all came up with Dad, and all y'all talked about. He said, "Man, all them boys talking about going to your house and getting a Mastercraft and jumping off the bow bridge." I said, I've heard it once. I heard it 1,000 times.
That wasn't even legal.
No, but
But that was like kind of the good old days to where no one's really going to say anything to Uncle Paul.
Yeah.
well, we've been doing stuff like that for ever and ever.
Yeah, that's true.
And
How many times do you think you've jumped off that bridge?
Oh, not counting playing as a teenager, or
All counting
just
everything. How many times?
Ooh.
That's it's into the deep
Thousands,
hundreds, thousands. Oh,
because we used to go down there when
So-
I was, 10, 11 years old. We'd jump off the bridge, and there was this one guy, Ivan Levine. He wanted to be a police so bad. He always rode around in a white shirt and like Pee Wee Herman. A perfect. If you could drive and say Pee Wee Herman, his name was Ivan Levine, the cop, and he had his whistle, and always he was like, he wanted to come down there and mess with us about jumping off the bridge. So if you jump off a certain part of the bridge, you can go down there and get some of this black mud. I'm talking about mud. And we'd see him coming. we'd drop down there and get to that black mud, and we'd pile it up on the seawall there. And we'd see him come, we'd all load up our guns.
And he has a white shirt on.
Oh, yeah, white shirt, red tie, Pee Wee Herman, all, little bell and the tassels on the handlebars, and he's just a slick daddy.
He has a cop?
No, he hung out.
Wanted to be.
He had, he's one of these, what you'd call now one of them ones.
Mall cops? Rent-a-cop?
Where they ride around and they just try to pamper him, hey, he wants to be a cop, so let him ride with you today. And he's just all about being a cop, so.
Citizen's arrest coming in.
Oh, yeah. He's a Bonifay. But there'd be about 8 of us. We'd be hiding behind the little cover on the bridge, that little round cement thing, so you didn't drive off to keep him driving off. We'd be hiding right behind that. He'd come up, and we'd have hands full of this mud. Oh God, we'd mud him.
Sounds like the pranks. It sounds like the Pensacola pranks back in the day were like really sick.
It's bad that we picked on this kid, but he deserved it. I mean,
why?
Because the way he was. I always wanted to mess with us. You can't be jumping off the bridge. I don't call the police. And
that's word for mud right there.
But they come down there. He'd go up there and make a phone call to somebody's house. And he had this mud all over him. And a few minutes later, there'd be a cop car come down there and pull over, and we'd all swim out to the middle of the bridge and hide behind the pile. And he said, I know y'all are down there. Nobody said a word. Well, y'all can't be throwing mud at Ivan anymore.
I love it.
And we had to stick our head underwater because we were laughing so hard.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man, I think we grew up in the wrong era, Shane.
Yeah.
How old?
Hold on, I wanted to tell the viewers and people that were wondering, like the jumping off of the bridge for us, though, that Uncle Paul taught us, and it was
9 and 6.
9 and 6.
I was 9. Yeah, I was going to guess 10.
9
Yeah.
and 6.
So I was 9 years old, and Shane was 6 years old.
But we would, Paul basically taught us how to do, was it just jumping off or deep water starts?
Deep water starts, yeah. So you jump off the
barefooting.
bridge and then deep water start barefooting away. Yeah, I forgot to add that too.
And I remember wanting to do that and Dad telling me that I had to basically learn how to do it off of the boathouse down at the big house.
Yeah.
And I remember trying, because that one's a lot higher.
So you
it's like,
practice off the boathouse.
Yeah, you would practice off the boathouse, and then he was like, you can, because I think you might have even done it the year before, and then or something.
That's what
but
I did it off y'all's boathouse down there, and y'all really liked me doing it off of that. And then that's when y'all are doing 3 event, and y'all were just bored to death of 3 event. It was just too bland.
That was probably even before 3 event right there.
Y'all are still doing
We were doing some
probably right
skiing,
before.
like,
That was
like-
right about 3
yeah.
event. I mean, because we were starting to wakeboard.
Well, I'm just saying, yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean,
Maybe.
I definitely use that bridge jump and like deep water starting away, like barefooting. That's pretty much what I did for my heli tow, my latest project with Red Bull. Is like I jumped out of a helicopter, but like I knew that I could do that because like you taught me, I guess, when I was 9 years old.
Yeah, well, you got it your first try. It took Shane a couple of tries, but he got it, boy. And then we're leaving out of there. And we're going back around toward Bahar, and in the background, going over to Pensacola Beach, there was this 3-mile bridge, the 3-mile bridge. So we're going over to Breeze, and it's got a big old huge something. Shane's like, let's go jump off of that one.
This one's like 80 feet tall.
Real high. Plus, it's like 4 days. You'll get run over if you just stop. If you stop on that thing.
No, it's super illegal.
Yeah,
I remember jumping off the bridge and it being like young enough that I was like, I'm like in the cool crowd. Like I did something that the adults are doing, and I'm like very, very proud of myself. Like it was it was a moment. It was a moment in my life that I was like, I'm part of the big boys now.
Yeah, you hung in there. Hey, it's tough. First,
I mean, you were always the youngest one out of like the crew. You had an older brother, Timmy. My dad was the oldest, so like you were the youngest one on Bahar, trying to like you were like when everyone was learning back in the day. You were like you were probably the guinea pig and the young one that they were trying to teach.
They were always so stronger skier than me. They're older and stronger skiing. Like, it's just being big brother and more time on the water and everything. So, but I was really blessed to live on the water and have the boats and be able to just go out and ski. people thought we were rich, because we on the water, and got a little John boat with a 20 on it, and half the time we use it, have more fun with it than the big boat.
Yeah,
Go
right.
out there and just drag around and do whatever. But
What was it like in the beginning days, like back in the days?
oh man, the kids want
Like Bonifay Beach and stuff, because would you always like do mullet, fried fish, and cook up some mullet? And
That's on the weekend. Every weekend there was a party on Bonifay Beach, be it roasting a goat or a hog or fish fry.
And y'all, it was a Bonifay Beach was like y'all had that. Y'all grew up in the house across the street. There's a frontage road, and there was a little piece of property, kind of like maybe like a half acre or so, maybe quarter acre.
Well, the beach property was 240 foot long, and probably about 50 foot deep. And it was a jungle when we moved there when I was 3.
Didn't Dad said there was monkeys back in there? Like I don't know if he was messing with me.
Bamboo. I mean, it was just real nothing but thicket. You couldn't. There was a little goat path that went down to the water, and
then y'all, because I've only known it as completely cleared, so that was all bamboo and just jungle in there.
yeah, jungle. Next door to our property, that overgrown place behind that where the picnic, the party room is over there. That other place on the other side, how jungle that is, it was worse than that. It was like my dad had his whole army jeep. We went down there and started pulling up trees and pulling all that stuff up.
That does not sound fun.
It took a couple of years, but
Damn.
then it was just a nice, pretty grass beach. I mean,
And then y'all put the building down there, or the little
the patio.
the patio, little
Yeah.
foundation and the roof and
We
stuff.
built
like that.
one. We built like a 12 by 24 the first time.
So y'all just had anyone from all y'all's local friends, anyone just would see y'all drive down the road, see y'all, and then just pull up and start partying and go skiing and stuff, huh?
Yeah,
Damn,
there
that
was
sounds
a lot
awesome.
of friends that come over for the weekend, but people drive by and just see all the cars parked and the party going on down here, and they stop and start joining the party, and then they start coming every weekend. It's just like crazy. I mean, really, some of the parties we had, they'd be parking 2 blocks up the street,
Yeah.
But it was like pretty neat growing up.
If you
Always a party at Bonifay Beach.
if you had what do you think if you had a nickel for every time someone skied off Bonifay Beach? How much money do you think you had?
I wouldn't have to work.
You wouldn't have to work again?
No, I mean, you could pull 10, 12 boats up on the beach, and there'd be nothing to have 4 or 5 boats out running, just constantly pulling skiers.
Yeah.
2 behind one boat, 3 or 4 behind another boat. I like going out. As I got older, I like going out with Mark Bonifay and a couple of others that were barefooting back then, and have a barefoot war behind the boat.
A barefoot war.
Yeah,
fuck is
last
that?
man standing. You go up there, you can kick them, do whatever you want to. Just
That's
last
kind of
man.
scary. You got a really big, you got a really high 1 foot.
Yeah, but I was always, I could slide in on me, kick them, knock them out. But I didn't lose too many of them. I really didn't. I was
Battle
like,
Royale barefoot, dude. I like
that was
that.
fun.
Dude.
No, that really
I think.
was.
Hey, listen up, Dano. You might have a new sport out there. Dude.
I definitely want to hear this story, and I want barefooting on Bayou Tahar is good segue into it, but 90-mile-an-hour barefooting.
No, I actually did it. I did it 92 a lot.
All right, so
was-
Uncle Paul has claimed, for anybody
We've
that's
always
out there
heard this story.
listening, Uncle Paul has claimed, and I don't doubt
104.
it, but I want the store 104.
Yep.
He's barefooted at 104 miles an hour, but I want the store because I can't even explain it half as good as you do to my friends whenever they ask about this.
And your story is all we have because I think it was Channel 4 News or something was the only one who picked it up, and Shane,
Channel
even
5
Shane can't find that.
Well, Channel 5 News back in Pensacola, they did it. And the guy, Ricky Higdon, came down there, and it was a ski tournament they had. And for halftime, they wanted me to. Ricky Higdon brought his jet boat, and I was skiing fast barefoot, so he wanted to pull me. And then they had Jay Boatwright, a guy I had a barefoot that came down and went to Ron Scarborough School and got real good at it, and he did a flying duck back for halftime. And
So you were going to one up it with 104 mile an hour.
yeah. And this is right after my brother passed away in a skiing accident. So
We'll definitely get into that too.
yeah. But I've been training for like 2 years doing this, and I was skiing behind Allison Craft with a 250 Black Max, and it'd run 97, and I'd pull it down to 92. And I kept doing this, and I just, I want to break 100. I want to break 100. And
So multiple times you've barefooted at almost 100.
oh yeah,
You practiced at 90.
yeah. I started off at about 45, and then it took me 2 years to reach up to like 92.
What did you wear for? Did you change like what you wore, like extra suits? So you wear neck brace? You wear like you wear anything?
Yeah, I had a neck brace because I messed my neck up when I was skiing at Disney World, and I've had just 2 through 7 taken out of my neck and fused together, 2 plates and 12
And this is
screws.
all before you tried to barefoot at 104 mile an hour. I know you had some neck issues later, but
No, I didn't have the surgery until after that, but I didn't have any bad spills doing the barefoot.
yeah.
So this boat that pulls up and you haven't barefooted behind it, and this thing can go 100 miles an hour.
I've been for riding. I mean, I was a good friend, and me and the wife would get in it, and there'd be about 6, 8 jet boats, and we'd go run the intercoastal and shoot it here and shoot there, hit the bars and stuff. But his had a blower on it with the 427. I mean, it was just amazingly fast. You can't,
and you did it. So, and you actually
yeah.
when all the cameras are on and like and the bayou's like rough too. So like I can't believe
it was in the afternoon about 3 o'clock, and there was a break, and it was right down there in front of where you had the band Triple Crown at.
yeah.
It was right there, and so got the cameraman in the boat, and we went down there and did a run like we're gonna pull me, and he said there ain't no hellfire way I can video this from the boat because he's holding on. I mean, he's about to shut his doors. I mean, this thing's just unreal fast.
Right.
It's very young. Not much on the
You're just
boat in the water.
a couple inches of water.
Nothing but engine. And he said, "Oh no." So he got up on the hill there and he videoed it. But it took me like 2 years. I walked around barefoot.
You were
basically.
training your feet to
You got to build up callus. I mean, you got to get.
I
walk
mean,
around barefoot.
when I barefooted behind the F1 car, I only went about 70 miles an hour, and that was the fastest that I've ever been and want to go. Like it was the water's so hard to where you can't like. It's just like I was getting like pulled towards shore. I can only you're going like another 35 miles an hour faster.
You just jumped right into that. I mean, like you went from 40 to 70.
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't jump into it like that. I mean, I took 2 years to go from like 45 to 92. I took 2 years. You just went from like 45. I'm going to do 70 today. Yeah, basically.
Hang on tight.
Yeah, I mean, but you get the gist of it. I mean,
How far?
the water is so
How far
hard.
do you think you coasted after you let go of the rope?
A good block.
Good block.
I took
pretty-
a mile or so like that.
And
yeah.
still on your feet until you
Yeah.
just let go of the rope and you're still just
Oh, yeah.
barefooted
Oh, yeah. And-
for a block.
I would have loved
yeah,
to see
and-
that.
Me too, man.
And you're only on about say put 2 matches side by side. That's about how much of your heel's in the water.
He's right.
Because you're just on your
You're on the
right on
little-
the tips of your heel back there, like somebody stick a big lighter right there, like, yeah, how's that feel?
Yeah.
And it got so hot, and then I let go after about right at a quarter mile in, and I reached back and grabbed some water because you don't want to fall forward because that's
No, definitely not.
devastation. So when I reached back, I grabbed too much water, and my ass hit the water, and it felt like it come up around my shoulders, and I said, "Whoop, too much." So I dropped back again and just pawed it a little bit, and finally got slowed down. But
You really were going like a whole block.
But I got back in the shore, and
Hero.
I took off. I had on my turbos, wetsuit, rib belt, neck brace, and I took all that stuff off and told the old lady, I was right there by the van. I said, "My ass is sore." And I dropped my drawers, and it was just as black as that box right there. It busted every blood vessel in my ass, and my whole ass was black within 10 minutes.
Damn.
That's pretty
That's
awesome.
crazy.
Oh, but
When's
I love
the
that
when
stuff.
was
that's the extent of my injuries.
What year was that?
In 79.
Damn.
And in fact, the guy that pulled me, they had this bar down in Pensacola. I forget the name of it, but I went in there one night. It used to be a strip club, but they turned in juke bar and stuff. But I went in there one night and he said, "Hey, come here, I want you to see something." And they had the TV running up there. He said, "Watch, here we go here in a minute." And it had a video of me doing this behind his boat.
Damn.
Oh
And
man.
I wanted to get that video so bad, but
Too bad it wasn't a strip club video.
yeah,
that was going.
but yeah, I mean, I wanted to get a video of it somehow, but I could never get.
Well, I can't promise you,
We can find
Bonifay
it on-
Banter listeners, that we're going to find it. But
We will
this is
do a
gonna
little
be
bit
hard
of
to get.
research. We will try.
Paul, when was the last time? That was 79. When was the last time you tried to barefoot?
Oh, when I tried, let's see, I was 67, so 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah, I went over to this buddy of mine's house, and I then got into the sauce and had a smoke or two. And
Talking a little shit.
no, and just wanted to get out there and do it again. And he had a jet ski, like a 1300, you know. He wasn't the best boat driver either.
So your last attempt was behind a jet ski. and-
Yeah, and so we go out there, and I'm doing a deep water behind it. And
you have a barefoot suit, or you're in your
yeah, I'm
jeans?
in my nice barefoot suit, and I tell you, they'll come up real hard, you know, bring it up pretty quick, and come up to about 40, 45, and right out of there, boom, popped up there, doing great for about 5 seconds, and he shuts it down. He said, he comes back, he said, "I had our alarm going off. He was telling me I'm low on gas." I didn't know what it was, so.
So you were up, and then he stopped.
Yeah. And then,
I mean, you still got the foot though.
Yeah, but
still
now-
you guys still got 5 seconds.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
haven't made it past
but
where you
yeah.
want to go yet.
yeah, right. Yeah, I'm only up for, 5 seconds doing it. And it only gets worse from there.
You tried it again.
He gets overexcited and comes out really hard. And I try to salvage it. And when I went to throw my feet out and stand up, it ripped me apart. I mean, I pulled both my groins. Wow. I was black as P Daddy from about belly button down to halfway to my thighs. all my junk was black and blue and swollen.
Just like the 100-mile-an-hour barefoot.
Well, no, my ass was, but my whole thighs, everything. I was just black down there, and everything was swollen. My wife saw me. She said, "Oh, I couldn't walk for 2 days.
I believe
I
it.
could not walk." She's, "Oh my God, I didn't know you hurt yourself that bad." I slept on her side of the bed because it's right there next to my bathroom, and she'd come in and get me and help me to the bathroom. I just couldn't walk, but
Don't you think you should have tried to do a step off instead of a deep water start? Do you think that would have been
it might have been more sensible. But we didn't have
more sensible?
but I didn't notice any skis around.
Fair enough.
Didn't notice any skis around. Yeah, but it is.
just keep correcting.
I keep on getting out of the way. But
No, you're good. You're good. I'll keep correcting it for you because I know.
Yeah, doing it. When I did that, man, the family was mad at me. We're supposed to be preaching water safety and everything because Timmy had just passed away 6 months prior, and I know that he'd want me to keep on doing it because
Well, you had a vest.
he knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
None of them knew, but he knew what I was doing. But I knew that he'd want me to, do it. So.
And for the listeners, a lot of my dad's little brother and Paul's older brother, Tim Bonifay, he passed away water skiing on Bayou Tahar without a life jacket on. So and he was slalom skiing, correct?
Yeah, and the ski cutting real hard, and the ski came up, it nose dug in, and the ski hit him in the back of the head and knocked him out, and just terrible loss.
He was a really good swimmer, but once you're out, if you get wind knocked out, you get knocked out.
So we're strong advocates of wear a life jacket when you ski. We won't pull you behind our boat if you not wearing one, but we just got to be strong advocates about that because
that really affected the family pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, Timmy was probably the strongest skier in the family.
Yeah.
And it happened to him, it was devastating. I got down there and my wife called me and I was at work, and I got down there about the time they pulled him on the back of the boat, and it was just one of the hardest things I've ever been through.
You went down there and
Yeah,
was helping look and
I was
stuff.
I was already knee deep in the water when they put him up on the back of the boat. And my sister, God help her, she was pulling him. And
Was the rest of the family there? Was like my dad and
no,
Dad was overseas, I think.
no, Pete. I'm not sure where Pete was. I think he was down south here in Winter Haven. But
yeah.
it's just one of the hardest days of my life.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's just you never know. And I got in trouble at Parks' documentary or one of them things because I wanted him to, tell all the, because there's so many riders out there riding and without vests and stuff. You take some nasty falls, learning all that stuff.
And that's what you, because at the documentary you got up on, because in my documentary, if you watch it, I don't know why we didn't talk about Tim drowning. That is my biggest regret of the whole documentary. If there's one thing I could add, it's that story, because I think there's a lot to learn from that story, and it just really affected the Bonifay so much. But and I didn't tell that in the documentary. So after the documentary was over, at the Hard Rock Live at Universal, Paul gets out of his seat and runs up to the stage and jumps up on the stage and goes for the fucking microphone, dude. And the bouncer comes out and is fending him off. And Paul's like, give me the mic. Give me the mic. And dude, I'm just like, why is Uncle Paul getting ready to fight a bouncer on stage? And so we ended up getting the mic. But yeah, you know what? Everything was really confusing at that time, but I'm glad we cleared it up that was what. You wanted. What did you want to say? You just get on and wear your vest and.
Yeah, I wanted you to. I mentioned something to you. I said you need to help us present what we're trying to do as far as water safety, because after losing him, it was devastating, and watching all these kids riding, wakeboarding without a vest on.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see anybody, lose their life like what we went through. I don't want to see that, because, y'all are sailing through the air, 20 feet up, and it's easy to get knocked out. And he was a strong steer. He's probably the strongest steer in the family, but it can happen to anybody. I don't care how strong you are, but I just wanted to get that.
It's happened to a couple of our other friends in the industry over time.
You got
to and so it's something that thankfully a lot of it hasn't happened more, but this just goes to show you that it can happen to anyone and it can happen at any time. So I'm always about promoting. Mom has always been about promoting ski with life jackets. Wear your life jackets, because if you get knocked out and you come out of your boots and that wind's gone, you better hope you have a hell of a team in the boat that can hold their breath, because if that water's murky, you don't really stand much of a chance, and it's not hard to just. I mean,
and it was
if you
also
wear your Coast Guard crew, but anything can help, man.
Yeah.
And it's just
it was always Peter B and Betty did always, advocate for this, and it was part of our upbringing that we almost didn't ever realize that you could wakeboard or water ski without a vest. And I remember when we'd have some people come down and wakeboard at the ski school, Betty would light them up.
Remember Mom had that sign that said, no life jacket, no skiing. I don't care how famous you are.
That was classic.
She's running a school there. Now, if somebody drowns, she's responsible.
Of course, the ski students definitely had to wear them, but there would be even pro riders that me and Parks, even at a young stage, would idolize, like Kovac or, these different dudes came through, and they would try to start riding without. I got one over here for you. I got one over here for you. But just such a strong advocate for, and it was all because of how devastating and how crazy.
He was just such a strong steer. You never would have dreamed it'd happen to him.
Yeah.
And then I get out there, and I had on a lot of safety gear, but my family didn't see it that way.
Yeah. And I've had some shots.
We're preaching water safety, and you go out here and do a stunt like this in front of there were like 8,000 people there. There's a bunch of people there.
Right.
But it's also not like you didn't have, like, you didn't prep for it. I mean, you had the
Right.
neck brace on,
Well,
you had
you
all the
prepped for 2
stuff.
years,
You
yeah.
prepped for a few years.
Well,
like
they
you
didn't
were
they
doing
didn't know
it.
that. They didn't.
No, I know, but I'm
But
just saying.
because I usually did it up on the river, and it
That's
wasn't
a-
on the bayou.
That's actually like kind of sick that the family got mad at him for barefooting over 100. Like, your brother just died. Why are you bare? Can't you go 75?
Can't you go 75? Why do we got to go to 100 on this one? No, I've always loved that story. And when I tell people, like anybody that even foots, you tell somebody that my Uncle Paul barefooted at 100 mile an hour, they don't want to believe it. They're like, that's not possible. But I know it is because we got the story right here. We got it.
Well, I wish I could had the video of it. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, we'll see if we can dig her up, but I doubt we will.
And the good old, those, I look at photos all the time of Bonifay Beach and stuff, and that looks so much fun. Bonifay water sports and stuff. And what was up with remember the story? What's the Elmo?
Elmo, Elmo. This is right after you.
So wait, let's set it up. So this is Elmo.
No,
it was a dog. Whose dog was it?
It was Reed's bulldog. So this is right after you broke the world record skiing. And his dog he'd dive down in the pool and bring up a beer keg, throw beer down there. He'd dive down deep in, bring it up. Crazy dog, climb a tree. You put him on a rope, but he wouldn't let go.
Is this the one that he dive for? Was it oysters or?
Yeah. But Reed told me, he said, I want to teach him how to ski. I said, okay. So I came, he said, bring me up some skis. So we got an old pair of water skis, and I worked for an oil company then. And I got some old fire hose, some 1.5-inch fire hose, and I cut off some about 16 inches each. And I put a tip on the end of it, and we set him up on the skis and where he'd be. And then we screw that tip of that fire hose down there, and then we ripped the back out of it, cut the back out, and put Velcro on it. And then
that's the ski boot.
Yeah. and once we set him on the skis where he wanted to be, and then we tied the skis together like yours. And then we put up on the front, we tied the rope to it, and we put this big old knotted rope that he loved to chew on. But once, I mean, you get him in the skis and you Velcro him in, they were like socks, like the boots. They come upon him. I mean, he skied like that.
Nuh-uh. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
But
amazing.
then he went out and did a Coke commercial out in California.
Elmo did.
Yeah.
Elmo the skiing
Yeah,
dog.
skiing dog. Skiing bulldog.
Skiing
But,
dog.
Reed didn't take me with him.
We kind of heartbroken. You didn't get to go out to.
Yeah, because I was there when he first skied. He got his brother Barry because his brother Barry was kind of like his manager and whatever. But
Really?
yeah, but
So it's like Twiggy. He had a
So-
whole support group. And
Yeah,
shit,
the
huh?
dog had a manager.
well, yeah, but Barry, he he's a negotiator or whatever. But I went through all the trouble of
Teaching the dog.
building.
Yeah, teaching them and building. the thing.
building the skis, setting up the skis, and getting the stuff and.
I love that.
and doing that. But I thought I should go along for either driving the boat, doing this or doing that. But I missed out on that trip. But so much for that.
Was that around the same time as Bonifay Water Sports?
Nope.
Because that was a business that my mom and dad started in Pensacola Beach, and they did like the parasail rides. They did a ski show.
Started in Gulf Breeze.
Started in Gulf Breeze.
And then we went to Pensacola Beach, across from the Tiki Lounge.
Is that where the original sign still is?
No, I don't know if Brent got it or not. I keep moving around. Sorry about that. I don't know if Brent got the
There
sign
it
or
is.
not.
That's it. That's it right there.
So, but
But the sign, they took the sign down because I remember for years we'd
Yeah.
see the sign up there.
well, it was right there. The lease came up, and your dad sold it to a guy named John Ehrenreich, a German guy, and he kept the name Bonifay, and he rented jet skis and did the parasail and everything. But he had a lease, and the guy that owned the lease there, Reeves, he called him out on the lease and opened up his own water sports there, and he closed it down. But I thought Brent was going to get the old Bonifay's water sports sign.
Oh, that would been nice.
I
The
don't
old
know.
sign.
Yeah, I don't know if he did or not.
He got the boat, the original boat.
He did.
I mean, it's there's no windshield and there's no engine. It's pretty decayed.
Right.
But hey Shane, I can't pull up that video. I think we have some that one video from the documentary of Bonifay Water Sports in Pensacola Beach.
And then we
And when I met Pete, I got to meet all the crazy Bonifays, which meant barefooting and partying on the beach and parasailing and the kites. And then we took all this and we began our Bonifay water sports on the Pensacola Beach. And for 3 years,
That
we
boat,
ran
I
it
think.
right there.
that was Tim.
That was Tim.
That's me. That was me back.
And for a long time.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. That back step was pretty sick, Paul. There's Peter B busting a 1 footer. See, Bonifay's
One
like
footer,
to
one
throw
hand.
that 1 footer extra high.
1 foot, 1 hand.
I definitely want to give props to you right now, Paul. I pretty much knocked my barefoot 1 foot is replicated off of your. You used to tell me, you do a 1 foot, you lift it up as high as you can, you hold it up as long as you can. when I was skiing at Disney World, I'd come out of number 4 turn and I'd just rock that outside corner because it's always smooth as glass, and you just rock up on that side, just half foot way up in there, and just coast around the corner.
And there is a good feeling on a whip like that, outside foot and inside hand going down. So it's
Yeah.
like 1 foot, 1 hand, and you can just lay on it.
lay with
It's
it.
a fun feeling. That's a good one. But yeah,
One day, I coasted in, and it was a big drop off. It was like 6 foot drop, about 3 foot off the beach. And one day I sat in there a little coast, and I landed in like 6 inches of water and just walked up on the beach. And I thought it was pretty cool. But
Damn right, that was pretty cool.
the
I like. Oh, sorry, you got.
the show director, he says, I don't ever see that happen again. He said, I'm giving you a verbal warning, but that don't happen anymore.
Does that mean you get one?
That was Jerry Atkins, the show director, and he was like we're on the world team for barefooting, but somebody had broken their neck doing that.
Right.
And
shit,
he said, that's not allowed. I said, I didn't mean to do it. He said, I didn't think you did, but don't let that happen
Does that
again.
mean you get a written warning too? That was a verbal warning.
Yeah, that was a verbal warning, but he said, don't let that happen again or you'll be gone. I said, yes, sir. So I made sure I didn't let that happen again because, skiing at Disney World was a trip.
Oh, I bet
They
those are
paid us.
They didn't have that show open for too long. So what years did you? Which year?
71 through 73. But your dad hadn't been there real long. And when I went down I graduated high school and I was working. And as soon as I got through graduating, I took off and went down to see him for vacation for a week. And like my 3rd day there, one of the guys turned in his resignation. He was going back to college.
You jumped right in there.
And Pete said, well, I'll get you an interview with Jerry Atkins. So he did. And he said, can you barefoot as good as I do? Or you? He said, better. He said, well, send him by. So Pete got me an interview, went down there and did a beach barefoot, and it was on.
Damn.
Yeah. Did some
Just
work-
one,
did-
1
did-
foot for a resume. No resume, no interview, no nothing. Just let me see your foot. And Paul just probably
beach
1
star.
foot, 1 foot around the corner. He's like,
Beach,
you're hired.
beach barefoot, and then coming out of turn 4, 1 footer, just, He said, okay, you're hired. I said, well, I got to go back. I got to go back to Pensacola and get all my stuff. I'm just down here visiting. So he said,
Go get your shit.
Go get your physical, get that done, and then go get your stuff and come back when you
good.
get back down. So, yeah, what a blessing your dad was and get me hooked up on that. We had a blast skiing there. They were only paying skiers at like Cypress like $165 a week. We were bringing home like $450 a week over at Disney.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah.
Disney came in hot. Huh?
Yeah, they paid us entertainers pay. So it was like, I didn't ask how much I was making, but I like the shit when I saw this for water skiing. Hell yeah. Yeah, but, and everybody at the garden's like, we're making $165 and they're over there making Everybody wanted.
Did you go back and tell them all how much you were making? And just
They all
knew.
knew. They all knew. But you know,
I'm surprised more people did. More people want to make the switch back in the day.
Well, it wasn't a matter of wanting to. I mean, getting the opening over there. I mean, they're not going to be. Nobody's going to quit. Just like I was at the right time. I mean,
nah, it's good.
It was meant to be, I guess. But I'm glad your dad was there, and it worked out for me because he helped me get my foot in the door.
Would have that been like
was
right? Would have that been when he met Betty?
Yeah. In fact, I used to go in, and your mom would come down, and we'd get the twin rig, and I'd go out and pull them doing doubles and stuff like that. Before we had to do the shows, we'd go there early in the morning and train her.
That's cool. Yeah.
So and that's how she got on. So
Peter B just giving everybody jobs.
Yeah. My mom and my dad met my mom was a lifeguard at the Contemporary Hotel, and Dad was in the ski show. And
Betty lifeguard, yeah.
And then y'all taught her to water ski, and then she
could water ski. She went to school up in Gainesville. She was on the ski team up there, but just going in and pulling her and Pete doing doubles and stuff, and that got her the job pretty much because. You know, you can't be real big, and to be able to do the doubles, climbing on them, that's important. So, yeah.
Why did they stop that show?
They had grand, like stadium seating. Wasn't nice enough for them. They wanted something nicer, so they just come in one day and say, well, show's going to be in here in a month or two, so. And
that was after Dad skied because Dad skied at Cypress Gardens in the late 60s, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. And then that was 71.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever? You never skied at Cypress Gardens, huh? You were too, because you were straight out of high school, straight to Disney World, huh?
Yeah. In fact, my junior year, your dad and Timmy went to Spain and skied. They skied for Palma Mallorca in Spain, and my mom wouldn't let me drop out and go with them.
Come on, Mom. You were mad about that?
Yeah, I wasn't happy.
How'd Paw feel about all of his kids being water skiers and moving off?
And just little hell raisers too.
Oh man, Pops was the man. He was the leader. He's the matriarch. I mean, he had his little shoe ski he made. You know, he always made.
Is it smaller than that one right there to the left of the TV?
Little ski scat.
Oh yeah, it was smaller. It was smaller than that. It was only about 16 or 18 inches.
Yeah.
And he had a piece of rubber garden hose on the back, very back of it, where he'd put his toe to hold his toe. But he'd stand there on the edge of the beach and have about 3 coils of slack in that hand and come right off that beach on one shoe ski.
It's like a slalom, pretty much like that, but smaller. That sounds.
It's only this big.
That sounds impossible.
Oh yeah, I mean, and then he'd get out there, and he'd lay back on that thing. He'd put all that weight on that thing, and just like a big old moon of water would just come over. You couldn't even see him. Just a big old wall of water would come up. It looked like just a big old wall, just a big old round wall of water. And the people, oh my, what is that? And then he'd come off of it, and then you see this little guy skiing. But yeah, my dad was amazing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did he ever foot?
No.
All that footage that we had for like the documentary of them hitting like ski jumps and stuff, and because they built their own like little jumps and stuff, and like pretty much like using like little Johnson little engine boats.
And you know what else was against the law?
What?
A single handle rope.
A single handle.
All he had was double handle. That's all he would use. Got to have my rope double handles.
So
that's
even when he got older, he still only used the.
Yep.
Damn, that's kind of sick.
That is.
I've always wanted to have a wakeboard contest where you can only use like the double handles.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is insane. It's so weird. There's no balance. Like at least with one, you can keep a center level of pull.
You can take up slack, pulling that thing back. But
yeah.
It's just, he would come off that beach, double handle rope, bam. Like
he was an ox, built like an ox. He was an old. Wasn't Papa an old boxer?
Yeah, he's Golden Gloves. He's a boxer. Boxed with a judge there in town. We got a lot of little incidents.
Didn't he used to box on Pensacola Beach back in the like 40s or 30s or something?
Yep. He did, and I had him old picture one year for Father's Day of boxing ring out there, and
I've seen
that was one of his prized possessions.
We're going to have to get a picture of that and bring it up.
But it's pretty neat.
That is really cool.
When I first married Booty Bonifay, she lived at the Gardens, and she worked for your dad. She and I worked for your dad and Betty at Bonifay's Water Sports, but she got a job. Your mom helped teach her how to swim and everything. She didn't know how to swim when I met her, and 2 years later she's skiing at the Gardens.
Damn.
But
Booty Bonifay, what a good, is that that's a nickname?
Yeah, her name was Valena, but
It's a great
everybody called her
nickname.
Booty.
Valena and Booty are both great names.
But she was 4'11", got 95 pounds soaking wet, and most of it was tits. and she was
Most of it was tits, but yet she got the nickname Booty.
She was gorgeous. So Booty is a very pretty lady.
She's top of the pyramid, huh?
Yeah, she's the first one to go to the 4-tier pyramid out there.
Ah, that's awesome.
I think she was female skier like 4 years.
That was wife number 1.
Yep. Yep. I don't know. That's like 3 years. But and then the other one, your favorite aunt.
Aunt D.
The comedian.
That's Paul's second wife. She laughs like that.
Yeah. The chuckle.
I thought it was really classic the next day after when my dad passed away. I think how long Dad passed away? 6 years ago or so, or 7
It's
years?
about that. Yeah.
About that. So we did the service celebration of life for Peter B, my dad, out at Cypress Gardens on the stage in the whole show circle right there. We had a kite fly, and it was a really cool night. Which this is so at this point Paul's already had 2 wives. So during the ceremony at the very end, this is classic. Paul walks up on stage, and after he was saying some stuff about my dad, he goes, "And I got 2 more." Do you remember exactly what you said? I remember too.
I'll tell you. But
Don't change the topic.
All right. But the only reason I did this is because all my family was there for this, and then all from up North Florida, and then also all my water skiing family was there.
Yep.
So I had there's 550 people there, family of some sort.
All people you love.
Yeah. And so I get up there. Joe Prosnick gives his eulogy on my brother. And then I go up next. And I give my eulogy on him. And then right there at the end, I said, I got somebody very important I'd like y'all to meet. So I asked my girlfriend, Janine, to come up there. And she was just as shy as could be. I mean, yeah, real shy. You have no idea. So I get her up there, and I said, I got 2 questions for you.
And me and Shane look at each other. We're like, oh, yes.
I says, is it true you told my brother you loved me before you told me? And she was high. She said, yeah. And because when we do it, one of our boat cruises, I'd be getting the boat ready, and she'd go in there, and Pete being laid in the hospital bed, and he couldn't talk, but she'd go in there and rub his head and scratch his head, and he just make eyes at her, and he loved her to death. But and she knew he couldn't talk, so she told him that she loved me before she told me. I said, all right. I said, the second question is a little bit harder. And if I don't like to answer, somebody's going swimming tonight, and it ain't going to be me.
That's what it was. I do remember that.
And we're right there at the water, at the podium is right there where they ski up on the ramp. And after everybody got through laughing, I turned to her and asked her to marry me. And the crowd went crazy for about 5 minutes.
It
was
Shout out to
amazing.
Paul.
So that's
Getting
now,
engaged
we've
at the
only been
ceremony.
doing this podcast for like a half hour now, and there's 2 stories already of you getting up on stage and out of nowhere throwing down the gauntlet.
It's good to show you that if there's a microphone in a stage and Uncle Paul in the same room, anything can happen, boy.
Yeah.
But I didn't ask permission from either sister, nobody. I mean, everybody like, what did he just do?
Oh man, no.
And I said, well, I don't need permission. This is something I'm going to do.
Uncle Paul way right there. But that was classic Paul. Yeah, this is Janine on this is at y'all's wedding.
This is awesome.
Wedding at Caribbean Bay.
Yeah, we got
Shout out,
married
that
on
was
our
pretty
boat.
sweet on y'all's on the
And
pontoon
the
boat.
goatee was so good at this point too. That was a nice.
Don't I have a gorgeous wife though? I mean,
You do.
You really outkicked your coverage on that
I'll
one.
tell you
Jesus
what, I
Christ,
don't
Paul.
know how I won her, but
I don't. You're not that. I mean, you are
She's
funny.
out of my
You did-
league.
Boy,
A girl told me the other day. She says, "You're either real rich or you got a big dick." I said, "I ain't got no money."
I ain't got no money.
but that was funny because the next day after the ceremony of life, we were doing the pool party. I forget whose house it was at, but and Uncle Paul had all three of his wives there. Like, I mean, he had Booty was there, Aunt Dee was there, and then Janine was there. And I was like, I forget who I was talking to. I was like, isn't this crazy right now? What do you think Paul's thinking that he's got his first wife, his second wife, and his third wife all at the same party?
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
It would honestly almost make you turn more red than you are right now.
I'll tell you. three ex-wives together to make you turn red.
Yeah, it'll make that hair all gray too.
Oh man, what a trip!
Funny, man.
But yeah, that was kind of strange, and I didn't know what people would think about me doing that, and I don't know. It's
It was
just
definitely questionable, but I admire the tip of the cap.
I remember-
you explained yourself very well. Like that.
well,
was a good,
I mean, I just wanted. I know hardly any of them are going to make it to my wedding.
right.
And I wanted them to be part of something about it and to propose to her in front of everybody
Yeah.
was my thing.
No, I remember afterwards, like even like my wife or even like Casey or like whoever, like when we had the conversation, it was like, oh my God, what did you think about Paul's doing that? And I was like, you know what? I loved it because Paul is unapologetically Paul, and you only can expect the unexpected from Paul. And that was exactly what Paul did. And it was so good. It was just like, it was beautiful. And it was like it's not like this was a downer of an event. Like this was a celebration of life.
Yeah,
Everybody
it
was
was-
very
ended on
happy. It was a very
It
accepted
ended on a
thing.
great note. Yeah.
It was very well accepted. And, I'm glad
And at
I'm
the
glad you did it.
And at the very end, I said, we might have lost one, but we brought another one into the family.
Yeah.
But
Man, Dad's celebration of life was really cool. Where we did the hang gliding.
yeah,
There was
Mark
like
Broussard
this-
did a great job. I mean, beautiful fight.
Yeah,
And Frank Sinatra, I did it my way playing.
yeah.
That had everybody in tears right there. And the
It
two
was
the
emotional.
big screen TVs with all the stuff your dad had done and them rolling.
All of those photos.
Yeah,
and everything.
he would have been really proud of that.
Yeah.
He
he
was.
definitely-
He
yeah,
definitely was.
I know it couldn't have been a better send off. I mean, it was great,
It really was cool.
but
It was such cool to do it at Cypress Gardens, where so much of like the magical points of his life, some of the stuff that he was like most proud of, at Cypress Gardens and all those years that he skied there. We actually have some. I want to talk about the Johnny Carson night with Dad. My dad skied at Cypress Gardens, but Johnny Carson was coming to do a ski show at Cypress Gardens, and he asked all the skiers to come up with something new and something that hasn't been seen before. So my dad was actually the first man to ever barefoot on his hands, and so it was on it. Hand ski, yep. And so it was on an episode of Johnny Carson. Shane, do you have that? Do you have that clip of And so I'm about to show you a clip from the documentary. You have a little bit of say so. A little bit of talking in that, but it also shows some pictures of Dad partying that night. But he got in a very bad accident, and that's what I want to get into after kind of like
Cypress Gardens. And featuring the world's greatest water skiers.
And then when he was down there, he was on the Johnny Carson show. He was first man to ski on his hands.
Well, if you want to water ski the hard way, take a look at Pete Bonifay over here.
He's actually skiing on his fingertips.
You wouldn't believe it, but his manicure bill runs awful high.
The night that he was on the Johnny Carson show, he was up at Jerry's and everybody's buying him beers and beer and beer, and Here goes Pete. He gets on the scooter, takes off down the road and gets about a mile down the road from the house and runs off the road and hits a telephone pole. And he ended up in the hospital for about 3 months. And they didn't think he was going to make it. He died like 2 or 3 times, and they kept bringing him back. And then they thought they was going to have to cut off his leg because he broke it so bad.
I spent 17 hours putting his leg back together.
Damn.
Doctor said if I ever had to do it, he's a friend of the family. He said anybody else, he said I wouldn't have
chopping that thing off, huh?
I'd be lobbing it. But and then he says he probably won't ever ski again. And then like a year and a half later, he's over in New York as Spain skiing.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it wasn't no stopping him.
What were you at Jerry's that night when everyone was up there?
Yeah,
I mean, you were telling the story. Yeah.
But he had this gorgeous blonde, Leah Johnson. She's pretty as my wife, but he was headstrong over her, and he had an old 65 Chevrolet Impala, just nothing to it, and he had him a 350 Honda Scrambler. And back then that was a nice little bike, but she wanted to go for a ride on a scooter. And the crazy things we do when we're drunk, you know what I'm saying. And he had one thing on the mind, yeah. And like I said, it was just a really bad curve. And he went off that curve and kind of threw her free, skinned her up, bruised her up. But he did he hit the telephone pole with his helmet in his head.
She was okay?
Yeah, she just bruised his skin up. But they had to take part of his skull out, and because his brain was swelling so bad.
I remember always seeing that dent in his head.
Yeah. But he died like 3 times, and they kept bringing him back, and he had to have his that skull taken out, part of his skull taken out, and then they made him this hat that had his ball cap and had a fiber like a hard hat on half of it,
so you couldn't hit that.
So he couldn't get hurt, but he had to wear that for like 6 months, and then they went back in and put it back in. But yeah, he was a mess. But I mean, your dad he come back, like I said.
How old was he at this time?
I'm not sure.
Like mid-20s maybe or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know either.
I think it was probably like
in the 20s.
68 maybe?
Well, no, 69 or 68 or 69, I think. But yeah.
What did how did you hear about it? Like, were there like police going by Jerry's and stuff, like ambulances and stuff, or did you get a call? Or how does someone in 1968 kind of get notified and no one has cell phones? Someone at the bar get a phone call and be like, "Hey,
no." When
turn down the music.
When they got him to the hospital, they called my mom and dad and got us our attention, and we went up there. But yeah, it was really bad.
It's crazy that it happened on that night that it aired too. Like, I mean, for all the times that you could, get drunk and ride on a motorcycle, like the night that it was his Johnny Carson show, and he's on fire. He's like loving it. He's like, yes, right. peak. Like, I just made it. I just hand barefooted next to Johnny. He even acknowledged me. He's like, oh, Pete Bonifay's got,
says his name first and last name.
Yeah, and Johnny's just sitting there on the chair on some skis that like it's so good. And then to watch that on TV and then to that happen that night is wild.
Yeah.
Wild times. Well, we got a quick little question from Mossy Pefferetti. He's part of the new members that moved down to Paul. You know the name of the group that just moved to Winter Haven?
Don't get me lying on
Let's
that.
try it. Come on.
You made fun of me last time.
I know, but you had a really good guess at it the first time.
It's like laughing my ass off.
Laughing my
ass off.
It's
I think that's really good.
I'll give you credit. I'll give you an 80, 90%.
We're gonna give Paul credit on that one. It's La Familia. Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
La Familia.
But I was telling the La Familia boys just moved down to Polk County. Tyler's got like a 6-bedroom house down there. There's gonna be like 7 or 8 of them, and I was telling you they're pretty much like the modern day like Pointless crew. Man, they're really similar in a lot of ways, but
They're a lot of
you got to
fun.
be on the lookout. I told them to be all looking out for Uncle Paul.
Yeah.
Around the Polk County, the Winter Haven chain down there. So they're gonna be coming up hunting you down, Paul.
I'm gonna go by and see him and try to.
Oh no, I'll tell him. I'm going to tell him about this.
My sunset dinner cruise.
Yeah, let's give a little plug to.
Yeah.
I'll read this off for you. This is Paul Bonifay's Off the Chain Sunset Dinner Pontoon Cruise. What it is it's a pickup drop off. It's you go out, you spend the evening with Paul Bonifay on his boat where he cooks you an awesome meal. Like
kidding me?
It's great. He does. What did you say? You do filet mignons, a
Filet
nice
mignon,
baked potato,
grilled shrimp, and a salad.
Yeah, and it's just great.
It's like it's an inch and a half thick filet mignon, usually about 10 or 11 ounces.
He was before we started the podcast. He was telling us about how he marinates these things up for a few days.
yeah.
He like cooks them up. I don't want to give away any secrets.
What's the
but,
value
you know,
of this? What's it go for?
Well, it's a 3-hour tour. For 2 people, it's $300. But if you get two other couples to go with you, it's $100 for each additional couple. So if you were to get 6 people together, it only comes out to about $85 a person for a 3-hour cruise with a filet mignon, grilled shrimp, baked potato, and salad.
Paul, would you be willing to give one of these tours, maybe 4 people, for free to the Bonifay Banter Patreon members? If you're for the top shelf members, if we do a spin to win, see who gets a free tour.
And I really hope he says yes,
Yeah,
because
we
we're
can do
giving
something
one
like that.
away. So if he doesn't,
We're giving one away.
We're giving one away. So it's either me and Parks covering it for you, or it's you just taking one on the shoulder for us.
Yeah, we could do like a 2 couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do something like that.
The odds of the Patreon member being close enough to Orlando, Florida, and taking
They
you
can
up
make it
on
down.
this,
They can make it
they
down.
can make it down. It's there. They're going to have a,
I was going to do a double or
voucher.
nothing for the top shelf when double or nothing gets closer. I was
yeah.
going to spin away and do a VIP package. Come get in the
it going.
boat, maybe put you up in a hotel. Probably not do the flight, but if you come down. So if you come down for that, maybe.
Hey, we'll put all the information here. I'll probably put it up on the screens. There's Paul's numbers. There's all the good stuff that you can get a hold of Paul. And
Paul, you were the first one doing this in Winter Haven too, kind of on the chain, right?
Yeah, they had a company, the Marine Supply. They rented boats, so I started renting my boats too. But I'd go to Old Man Frank's on the weekends, and I started out. I had a little 17-inch grill, and I'd pull up to Old Man Frank's on the weekend, and everybody'd come down, get on my boat, and I've already dropped like $100 bill, getting gas and food and ice and drinks, everything you need. And they pile on my boat, where we're going and what we eating. So, it just got to be, I need to make a job out of this. Everybody loves it, but that's the baloney eater, so they don't want to pay any money.
Well, I'll go ahead and say, out of all of the Bonifays, Paul Bonifay is the best chef. So it's not surprising that he does this on a pontoon, but he makes a shrimp and grits that the recipe doesn't go out anywhere, but yet he's taught me and Parks how to make this. And it is, I've showed it to so many people or had people taste it, and every single time people are blown away. I don't think there was one person that ate it, liked it, but was allergic to shellfish and immediately started to get a little swollen in the lip.
But besides
besides them,
I whipped up 2 bowls of it, and we sold a whole meal package for barbecue for Bob. We did it over at Nikki Bacon's. Our friend Bob Sitchell is going a battle for cancer right now, so we did a fundraiser for him over at Nikki Bacon's. And Uncle Paul, you actually came up there. You got there nice and early.
Yep.
And checked out the.
They were delicious. You did a great job on following the recipe. I mean, both you and Shane, y'all done well with it.
We're trying to
give
keep
it
the
out to
recipe
anybody,
alive.
but the 2 of you, yeah. I mean, because it's like it's one of my signature dishes that everybody, if you have friends, you go to parties, that's what they want you to bring. If I go to parties, they make your shrimp and grits.
Yeah, I've had people ask me for sure numerous times, bring it.
So
they didn't stand a chance over there, dude.
No,
both
they
of those
go.
things were going.
Yeah,
and Blue loved them too.
Oh, Blood. Blood got a hold of them.
Oh,
yeah.
Blood.
One time I made a big old vat of shrimp and grits for a big old party we were doing in the hood. And before we got back home, after I made them, my dog Blood pulled them off of the counter, and the whole kitchen was just filled with
a full pot of shrimp and grits. And
I would say, I don't know how big the gallon size is, but it was this wide by like this tall. It was
probably probably 3-4 gallons. But
yeah.
Everybody walked in the house and they go, "Oh, that smells so good! Can't wait to eat. We're gonna have to eat them off the floor."
Yeah, it was everywhere, and Blood had it all on his lips.
Oh man, that had to be devastating.
Do you think he threw in the towel on it? Do you think he wanted to eat it all, and he was just like, "Fuck, man"?
I think he smelt it, and he was like, "I'm getting some of this." And whenever it fell and hit the floor and splattered everywhere, he was like, "Oh, I think I just peeled off a bigger piece than I can chew." Like it was.
That had to be some kind of mess to clean up.
Oh yeah, it's thick. It's thick.
Yeah,
it's
with
got
all that cheese in it.
Oh, it was not easy. The ground was like oily. Like you could feel it for a long time.
None of the boys were trying to scoop it up off the floor.
No, I saved it. I pulled the pot up, and what was left in the pot, which was like this much, we still ate.
Everybody gets 4 grit.
You get one spoonful and you move on. It was good. It was really good.
I know you had to be heartbroken about that, though. You know,
it was
anticipation going up there, and
it was equally as entertaining as it was heartbreaking.
But y'all, you said you stopped at other people's houses and had a little snack there and a little snack here, and you're like, "Yeah, wait, you get to my house."
Yeah.
We have the grits.
He's building it up. And welcome to Gritville.
Yeah, in the neighborhood, there's a whole bunch of houses of different wakeboarders, different people. There's maybe more than like 10 to 15 of us that all are young homeowners, and we do this thing, a hood crawl every year, where we pick like 4 or 5 houses and we'll bounce around to each person's house, and everybody has drinks and food and snacks and stuff for them. And that was mine, as we were going to do a shrimp and grits, and I forget what I was making. Probably Moscow mules and shrimp and grits, but no shrimp and grits for everybody that year.
Grit down. You know they handpick every grit.
Yeah. But hey, I got one for you. How insane was it when I came up to your house and painted it burgundy and cream?
That was a wild one. And you were the one that picked the colors too, because I was like, I don't know where we go with this. And you said, let's go with this.
If you don't like this, I'll repaint it.
Yeah, I know. And it was wild because my house was like cream with like maybe like a little brown accent or whatever. And I was like, I need to paint my house. And you came up and you're like, what color are we painting it? And I was like, I don't really know. Maybe just same color. And you're like, I saw this house the other day that was burgundy and cream, or burgundy and like light tan. And I was like, what? And still like people like comment. They're like, that's a good color combo.
I mean,
it's a good color
tip of the
combo.
cap to Paul. Paul, you picked you picked a color that his girlfriend's hair is, and that his old dog was. Like Shane loves that color burgundy.
Yeah, it's that like dark red.
It's a part of your soul, and you tapped into that, Paul.
But I saw this house in Pensacola, and there's a lawyer's house out there on Scenic Highway. And it had a lot of windows and a lot of trim with the cream and everything. And I was like, that's making a statement. I mean, that's pretty. I like that a lot.
We made a statement with it.
And I said, well, Shane, you're going to have the only house in here. You say, it's the burgundy house in here. And that's going to be the only one. But I mean,
the lavender house on the tip though, kind of like really let you not be too promiscuous.
Yeah, no, I didn't go Miami like sea green or pinks or lavender. But it's a respectable different color. Like it's different. But
are you still happy with it?
Yeah, still happy with it. Still
he hasn't changed it.
Well, like I said, it's I just thought it was really neat and unique because it's something you don't see every day.
Oh.
And that's what Bonifays are. We're unique.
Unique. That might be an understatement right there.
But I said, well, I'll paint it again if he don't like it, but I'm sure he's probably going to like it because
it went over better than the hot water heater, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll have to say, I will be up in the morning to.
I'm just giving you shit, Paul.
Well, I am. I'm coming back in the morning and fixing his water heater. It ain't going to whip me.
Yeah. You're going to get 1 point on the board, huh?
Well, we put it in, 10 or 12 years ago, and it's time. I mean,
how long does a water heater usually last?
10, 12, 13, 15 years.
I mean, I've owned my house for.
You've never changed it.
I've never changed my water heater. Maybe I got like one of those ones from like the 60s or 70s that just last forever. But I think I'm going to need a new one soon. So I'll keep you. I'll see how. I'm not calling you yet, but I'll see how Parks' new water heater tomorrow goes, and then maybe
He charges by the hour.
Yeah.
Peanuts. But,
What do you think? Should we take a little break and
Yeah,
then
let's do
maybe
that.
get back in here?
Let's do it.
All right.
All right.
All right, guys, it's time for the Bonifay Banter, episode 3, top shelf giveaway for all the Patreon members. This is where we take all the top shelf Patreon members, put their name on a wheel, and we give away prizes every episode. We're giving away a couple wakeboards in the first couple, La Familia t-shirt, Duvin gift card, lots of good things that went out there. This week, we have, you're in for a real treat. The Uncle Paul episode, we are giving away a sunset dinner cruise on Uncle Paul's pontoon tour. Filet mignon, grilled shrimp, baked potato, salad, cruising the Channel Lakes to the Bermuda Triangle with Uncle Paul. And if Shane and I are in town, we'd love to join you as well. So if you're in Florida, you can go down there anytime. And if you're out of state, come on down, come to Double or Nothing whenever you make it down to Florida, and Paul will take you out. And as well, we got a melon real tree hat. This thing is actually sick. I haven't think. Oh, it comes with a case too. So big thanks to Melon donating this hat for the giveaway. Damn, this thing is sick. Neon orange hunting hat by Realtree on Melon. Big thanks to Melon. Let's get this wheel spinning right now. See who takes down this Melon hat and the Uncle Paul Pontoon Tour. Here we go. All the Patreon members or all the top shelf members on the wheel. Let's go. Spin this thing. 3, 2, 1. I think there's about 23 names on the wheel right now. And the winner is Blake Reeves. Blake Reeves, you take down the melon hat. I'm going to ship this out to you. And you, as well, you got the Sunset Pontoon Tour with Uncle Paul. This is going to be sick, man. Congratulations, Blake Reeves. Big thanks to Melon for donating the hat and Uncle Paul for the cruise. If you want to get your name on the wheel next week, become a top shelf Patreon member, and you'll be spinning to win. Back to the episode. Let's go. That's that halftime music.
I love that. I love that intermission music. Love it.
Yeah, we back. But there's a question from Mossy that I never got to ask. We started talking about La Familia and the Winter Haven chain. But question from Mossy for Uncle Paul. Why did you paint your truck from green to blue?
You talk about it in the song you wrote about me, Black Bonifay.
Well, that's I think well said, Uncle Paul, because I think this is since Uncle Paul denied this question and he's not going to answer it, and respectfully so. If you don't want to answer, I think that the only way that you could know why Paul painted his truck is if you listen to Black Bonifay, which Shane, Paul, I am going to give to all the Patreon members, all the Bonifay Banter backers and Top Shelf members, get a copy of Black Bonifay. And I haven't released it. I recorded this up in Tennessee with Jake Owen's band up there. And it's a song I wrote about Uncle Paul, the true Black Bonifay.
And it's all true. Everything he says about me is true.
It's a true, it's a true song.
And it's what we started the intro with when we had the message from Paul. That's how it starts the song.
Yeah, so you're going to hear the intro and you're going to hear the outro of the song, but
there's a whole song in between that is just beautifully documents Paul.
But not only did Pete have a black Toyota truck, mine was black also. So I said, I got to disguise my truck a little bit because he's as bad a driver as I am.
Was the heat on you a little bit?
No, but I drove a year without a license. You know, you
yeah.
do that. No, but
allegedly.
Hey, I think statute of limitations is past it. I think we can talk about it.
You're gonna get busted. But I drove on pins and needles.
Did it work? Did you ever get pulled over again when you switched your colors? Did I know who it was?
Nope.
Solid diversion.
I like Stuart, your cousin. We won't go there.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. We're definitely going to have Uncle Paul back.
That'll be on another session.
That'll be a whole nother segment right there.
We'll definitely have an episode 2 with Paul for sure.
But yeah.
Seems like navigating on a pontoon might be a little better than hitting the streets.
Yeah. You don't have many po' boys out there. And the popo, they like me, and I've always been nice to them. So they don't mess with me too often.
That's good.
So yeah, still in good terms. I'd always offer them food when I was out there cooking.
What's your favorite bar right now down in
Caribbean Bay.
Caribbean Bay?
Caribbean Bay.
Yeah.
What lake is that on?
It's in between Howard and May.
Howard and May.
Yeah.
And
it's right there in the Bermuda Triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
What would be the biggest difference between Caribbean Bay and like an Old Man Frank's? Why are you leaning more Caribbean Bay? Is it music? Is it company? Is it where are we at?
Company, and they have 2 bands on Saturday. One from 2 to 6, and another one from 8 to 12.
Okay,
that's a banger.
And then Sundays from 3 to 7, but it's strictly alcohol, no food. So
that's great.
Right up my alley. I only live like 3 blocks from there, so I get hungry, I go home. I don't need no food.
No, that's good. Drink until you get hungry, and then you gotta go. And then that's a good bedtime, you know.
But the Caribbean Bay's got a much better atmosphere. Y'all both been there.
Yeah.
You got the big tea hut. It's where I got married. Just a really nice atmosphere, and always usually good bands. So
I made the sickest edit to your wedding video to help the AC/DC Hell's Bells.
Yeah, Hell's Bells. That was so good. My wife cried when she saw that. She's like, that is so good.
Dude,
so
Janine Paul's wife is fucking awesome, dude. She goes, I love doing karaoke. I love singing. I go, oh, really? I love asking people what's your favorite karaoke song. But when she said that, I asked her and she goes, anything death metal. She sings the hardest, just yelling stuff, and it's like you saw a picture of her. She's beautiful. You would, as the last girl in the bar, you would probably pick to do something.
Yeah,
like,
well, speaking of, since you asked about the karaoke thing, what were you gonna say?
That was a strange day when I got the park sent me that, because that's the same day I found out I had prostate cancer. I got a call from the doctor. You know, on my birthday, I'm on my honeymoon, and I get a call from the doctor that I got prostate cancer, and that like, whoa, bummer. And then Park sends me this video that he did, and it put tears in my wife and I's eyes. It was so good. I mean, the way he come in with the drone and everything he captured it perfect.
It was an amazing day.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a great day, but it just like, up or downer day. I mean, you're on your honeymoon and you find out you got cancer, and then just, I don't know, it's kind of devastating, but we got through it.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
All the numbers are good, and a lot of radiation, but hey.
Because that was a while ago, so
all my numbers, I if you check on it, all my numbers are good now, so I'm very blessed to,
good to hear that,
have whipped it.
Yeah.
And just keep an eye on it.
Yep.
But I still have the video that Park shot that day. It was amazing. It's nice to take a refresher look and look back on that day. I mean,
we might have to try to find that video and put it up.
Yeah,
that was pretty neat.
Yeah, that was really cool.
But yeah, I mean, that's got to be brutal to be on a honeymoon and hear some information like that.
Yeah, it wasn't real good,
Yeah.
But
what was this is that Caribbean Bay. What was the cool story you were telling me about that metal fish you found that is hanging in Caribbean Bay? So if you go down to Caribbean Bay, you'll actually see this.
Yeah, I've got
this fish hanging out.
A shark. Some of my neighbors here in Winter Haven, they live down on the corner of Lake Jesse and Idlewild, and they're very wealthy, and they've got some houses down in the Keys, and they invite me down every once in a while. We go down there and we stayed on our honeymoon in their like $3 million house, and then went down for anniversary here last year and stayed in their mother-in-law's suite that they have right there at their compound.
Sounds like a sketchy deal.
Just a real rough place to stay.
Can't believe you let you move in there.
But I said, when y'all gonna adopt me? But we were sitting out there, and they got a huge under the carport patio where we play cornhole and sit down and drink, and eat stone crab claws and all that. But he had like these 4 metal pieces of metal artworks of fish that are about 2 foot long, 2.5, 3 foot long, and they're all of like a mahi, and a dolphin, and
Made of metal.
Made of metal. Some artists put these together, formed them out, and welded them together and everything, and painted them up. Really nice looking piece of art. And there was one of a shark, and it was laying on the ground. It was from the hurricane. They never got it up. It just laid there in the ground, and it had a little bit of rust on it. And so I was out there screwing with it one morning, and I put it up on the deck there, and I was trying to fix a chain on it so I could hang it back up in the tree. He said, "Don't worry about that thing. I'm going to just throw it away." I said, "No, this is too nice to throw away, isn't it?" I said, "If you throw it away, I'm going to throw it in the back of my car." He says, "Throw it in the back of the car." And the guy that owns the Caribbean Bay, he said, "Bring me back something nice from the Keys down there when you go." I said, "All right, we'll do." But I had no idea what I was going to bring
Yeah,
back.
you're going to get him a seashell or a conch
shell or something, something real dorky. But I come back with this thing, and
damn,
I just had to clean it up a little bit and put some paint on it. And my wife's an artist, and she just dolled it all up and fixed it up. And I brought it down and hung it up on underneath the ticky deck down there, and they love it. It's just it's a nice piece of artwork to hang up.
Sounds like you should get a little bit of a bar tab or something. A nice little piece of artwork over there.
Well, I mean,
I bet you walked out on enough bar tabs. So I bet it's a wash now.
In fact, I got in and help them open up on Saturday and Sunday mornings, and I drink early on Saturday and Sundays. Believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
But yeah, shocking, isn't it? Shocking. But I play the bar tab there too. But I hit the bar tab 2 weeks in a row. About 3 weeks ago.
How do you hit the bar tab?
You buy tickets every day. You go in there, you can buy 5 tickets.
But you can only buy 5 tickets a day.
5 tickets a day. So I usually buy.
How much was the bar tab?
107 was one, and 117 was the other.
Damn.
Yeah, but it only didn't last me about a half a day. But
what's so what do they take $1 for? What's the bar tab? What do you mean? Like, so it's a little raffle for.
It accumulates.
Friday evening, they pull a ticket out of the jar, and if it's got your name on it, you win it.
But where's the money come from? Like half of the money goes to the bar, and then half of the money stays in the pot.
All the money goes in the pot.
Oh,
but you're spending money at the bar by.
I bet that pot get pretty big sometimes.
Oh yeah, you get a couple $100.
Nice, I like that. But I'm gonna have to tell the La Familia boys about that, and even point out the shark form. So whenever they're there, hanging out with somebody, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know Uncle Paul brought that back," and has the story. You know,
if any listeners out there, tag Bonifay Banter on Instagram. Let's see fish, and we'll send you a koozie.
But my shark is hanging. I've got a 17 by 14 inch sign that's off the Chain Pontoon Cruises hanging up on the ceiling. And my shark is hanging down below it. So
it's all right there, huh? So you got your billboard?
I'm trying to put the shark up there to draw attention to my sign up there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta get a little love.
What about getting a little digital marketing towards the off the chain pontoon tour?
I don't know. My wife handles all that stuff.
You're not a Facebook or Instagram?
Oh yeah. She just handles all that, and she's smart.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not that smart because
true knowledge is knowing what you don't know.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. I leave it up to her because she never lets me down. No, she don't. I got a wonderful wife.
I love it.
I couldn't be more blessed in my life. I tell you, I love her more and more every day.
I love her. I am still astonished that you locked that one down.
I tell you what.
And you've really toned it back a little bit. I'm glad I wrote the Black Sheep Bonifay song when I did, because after you when she kind of whipped you in shape, you're a more predictable.
Well, like you said in the song, every Thanksgiving Day he's got a different bird under his arm. I brought some real winners in there sometimes, but Mom and Dad didn't approve. I don't think
you and Dad were always pretty amazing about doing that. Like I remember on it was Danny Harf's wedding. Dad brought his +1, which nobody has ever met before. I did.
Her name
no
had to be
clue who
Judy.
this was.
He only dated Judy. So
No, I think Judy was his original choice, and then she didn't make the cut, or she couldn't make it. So he brought a one-eyed lady to the bar, to the wedding, to Danny's wedding,
Get
and
the
we
hell
were
out.
all just amazed that we were like, Dad, I understand having a +1, but could you brought somebody that we've met before? And we're like, it was just great.
And with
It
two
was-
eyes.
One with two eyes would be nice.
Well, I mean, he every girl he dated was always Judy.
He did date a lot of
down-
Judys.
Judy down south, Judy in Winter Haven, Judy.
He had
It's
a few
always
Judys.
Judy.
Or Julie.
He couldn't screw up in bed though.
Yeah.
Judy, he ain't calling her by no last name, but
That's
yeah,
it.
but it was insane. But you asked my sister Casey and G and them, God bless her soul, but yeah, he only dated like Judy's. There's something strange about that.
He just was attracted to the name.
Yeah, I
It's a
think
nice
so.
name. It's a nice name. It sounds
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
nice lady. It's a respectable name, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul, how do you feel about doing a little rapid fire question situation?
Kill it.
I like this.
All right.
All right, so,
Shoot.
a
So
little
what it
rapid
is-
fire questions.
Yeah,
fill
we're
them
gonna
in.
do this. It's a little rapid fire. You don't gotta go too long in depth on your answers. Just give me, the quickest answer you can think of whenever it comes, and we will start
Black or
right
yellow?
now. Favorite bar,
Seabay.
Seabay. Favorite beer,
Not a beer drinker, but as long as it's wet.
all right.
What's about favorite cocktail?
I like a Lord have mercy, and that's pretty much
What's a Lord have mercy?
Lord Calvert and Sprite. I drink Caucasian Russians.
Caucasian Russian.
As a white Russian, so we're not.
I like a good white Russian.
So we're not
So
offending
politically
anybody.
correct.
Yeah.
Well done,
Yeah,
Paul.
yeah,
We're proud of you.
Favorite Bonifay.
Mm.
Out of all of them. Out of all of them. I mean,
It's
me and Parks are right here if you want an easy answer, but
Yeah, one's right in front of you,
I'll tell
one's
you.
to your left.
I tell you.
Uncle Harry had some crazy stories. Peter B
You
got
say
you a
Peter B,
job.
you
I
can say
like
Tim.
I like you and Shane and Tim and Chris. I mean, y'all are bomb. I mean, y'all are my 4 favorite nephews, I think.
All
All right,
right.
we'll take that.
Best
That's
time
very-
on the lake ever.
I can't tell you that.
Maybe the wedding. Your wedding.
Well, yeah. Me getting married.
That was a good one, but I know there's a lot of good times. So
and your-
that's a
and
tough
your,
one.
And your dad had a few of them too.
Oh yeah.
And we're not going to mention the names that was on the boat either.
There we go.
And what went on?
We're gonna do an episode that's all Peter B.
Yeah.
It's like Peter B's episode, but like, you're definitely gonna be.
Favorite thing to cook.
Ooh, intriguing.
I like cooking my steaks and my shrimp and grits.
Shrimp and grits and steaks. All right. Well, you touched on it earlier, but last time you barefooted, and you said it was only
When
for
I-
5
when I-
seconds.
When I was 67.
67.
So that's going to be about 4 years.
You don't have to tell the story, but what is the best Pete Bonifay story? Like just the almost like the title or the time we went to Daytona or something like that.
I like sitting around when we'd have a party in Pensacola, and everybody wants your dad to tell his stories. Pete was a storyteller.
The best.
When he would talk about when he first went to the gardens and the girl that didn't have no legs, he took her and he didn't leave her hanging in a tree.
Dad tiptoed a line of telling a real story and then hearing the latest joke that he heard. Like that story was like it was at the end of it, you knew it was true, but you were hook, line, sinker the whole time. So
he was
some of his stories were true to the end, but like some of them he just like started off true and then just segued into
He could take a joke, like you said, he could take a joke and turn it into a story that happened in his life and tell you a story about it that would take 10 to 15 minutes long to tell you, to the point where you're like, yes, this definitely happened, until you hear the punchline and you go, wait a second.
Y'all remember when that one, and that like the dad was, you brought her home. You know, I'm so happy for you for bringing her home. Most guys leave her hanging in the tree.
Yeah.
You know? And then the one where when he was first at the Gardens, they were going out and everybody was banging this one guy's truck driver's wife. You know, so they were going over there to bang the truck driver's wife while he's out of town. And they all had it all set up there. And
isn't this a prank that they pulled on Dad and like Donna Morse?
Yeah, and they get in there and they get the shotgun. They all go.
Well, let's set it up like his dad would say it like a little better. So they all mess with Dad. This is like an initiation thing when Dad first started skiing at Cypress Gardens. The good old days when you could pull some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
and I guess I guess they all told him that everyone bangs the truck driver's wife. So
yeah.
So what? They all go over there and get out, and then as they're walking up, a guy comes out with a shotgun, fires a shot into the air, and goes, "You the motherfucker's been screwing my wife."
Yeah.
And then everyone just runs off. One of their friends is in on it and plays dead, acts like he gets shot.
He just dropped to the ground when the gun goes off, and I just saw him kill Donald. He's running, and
they're like all in the orange groves, just running for their lives.
Yeah, don't know where they're going.
The good old days. You can't pull those pranks off anymore. Damn. All right. Sorry, we got sidetracked.
Okay.
You knew that question was gonna. That was a wasp nest right there.
It was a wasp nest, and I just sort of wanted a title, but I knew what we were getting into. Okay. What do you think of Black Sheep Bonifay?
My daughter said, "I hope you don't get offended." I said, "About what? You hadn't heard that song yet?" I said, "No," but the first time I heard it is the night that I proposed to my wife and went to Heather's house, or no, Tim's house, afterward party.
Did I played it for you? I played the guitar just live for you, not the actual recording, right?
Yeah, you played it live for me that night, and I couldn't stop laughing the whole thing. Every time I heard you say this and that, I mean, I couldn't stop laughing. It was funny as hell.
It's a good one.
I thought
and obviously, crazy. If you're a Patreon member, then you're gonna get get it in your Dropbox or email or whatever. Who makes a better shrimp and grits, me or Parks?
Damn, you got some hard questions, Shane.
Well, I just had some of his Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's been a while since I've had yours, but
all right, we can go with Parks. You can go with Parks. I'm not gonna take offense to it.
No, because you were telling me how you got your recipe out and it's got all the stains on it and everything. You keep that
the original handwritten recipe.
Yeah.
It's kind of sick.
And I'm proud of you for doing so. So if you've got that recipe, you've got it. So they're not going to be.
They're going to be yours. They're going to be yours. They're going to be Uncle Paul's recipe.
They're going to be it. So,
Pensacola or Winter Haven?
Oh, great question.
My heart's in Pensacola, but all my family's in Winter Haven. That's why I moved here.
Does Jerry's have the best burger?
Not anymore.
Oh, wow. Whoa. Hot topic.
I heard that, a little bit of a hot take. I heard Brian Solomon, he's from Pensacola, Mickey and some of his dad's brothers and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I heard Jerry's has kind of lost its touch a little bit.
Wow.
Maybe.
Yeah, they've got
smaller burgers, way too expensive, and way too big along the line.
Too much soy or something in the burgers. And
I heard you have to pay for Jerry's sauce now.
Oh yeah.
It's
crazy.
That's blasphemy. That's blasphemy.
Yeah, go in there and have the crackers and sit there with Jerry's sauce on the crackers.
Yeah, that's good hors d'oeuvres right there.
And you got to go up to the counter and order now, and then go get a seat. They don't have any waitresses. It's gone downhill.
That's a bummer. Always loved a good Jerry's burger. All right, what number?
Mullet sandwich better.
What number am I thinking of?
13.
No.
Was it 1 through 10 or
no? Just whatever number.
Okay.
Better barefoot or Pete or you?
Me.
Oh,
damn,
okay.
Dad rolling over the grave.
All right.
I've been through some rollers. He said I ain't gonna make that.
True.
I like it. Favorite song?
Oh, I don't know. I like a lot of music. I like it when my wife sings "Walking in Memphis." My wife is.
"Walking in Memphis" is a great song.
Great song. Good call.
My wife can really sing that well. I mean, she sang it for some people.
That's a hard song to sing too. You know?
But yeah, my wife just.
So she's got a diverse
Who's that?
karaoke selection.
Is it Elvis that sang that?
No.
I think he does it. But anyways, not the point.
I forget that.
Your song for karaoke.
You don't want to hear me sing.
No, I don't want to hear you sing.
But
I
you
just
had
wanna
to
know
like
what song.
you have to fill it out right now.
What song?
Gun to the head. You have to sing. What are you filling in?
Friends in Low Places, a little something.
Hey there, Little Red Riding Hood.
Is that a song?
You sure are looking good. You're everything.
All right, yeah, I think it's a good thing that you don't sing karaoke. That's good.
I told you, you're not listening to me, boy. I say, boy.
All right, last one. Who would you most like to have a beer with, dead or alive?
Very interesting question.
I come with the heat.
I'm telling you, that's
a good one.
Right now, I like Donald Trump.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think he drinks, but you could have a beer with him.
He's the man. I mean, he is really trying to straighten our country out, and he's doing a great job.
I thought it would be Walt Disney World for that $450 paycheck that he supplied you back in the day. You might
No. But he's too.
All right, I like it. I like it. We nailed some good ones there. I love it.
I got a couple right here. Just a couple oysters, raw or steamed.
Both. I like. I've got a killer oyster Rockefeller recipe.
Oh, I think I've had those one time. Didn't you? You brought over a oyster shucker one time.
Yeah, I made oyster shuckers, and then all stainless steel.
You do?
I did.
Oh,
when I was living in Pensacola.
That'd be sick to make again.
Then I put them in all the Holiday Inns in the Southeastern District. I knew a buddy of mine I went to school with. He was over the restaurants. And I asked him, I said, how many people you send to the emergency room to get their hands stitched up from open orders? Every week. I said, I want to show you something. So I met him at the office one day, and we went over there to the kitchen. I set one up in the kitchen and got one of his employees back there and showed him how to use it. And he said, I want one in every restaurant in the Southeast.
Damn, were they hard to build?
No, I made them in my garage. They're all out of stainless steel.
Do you need to weld it and
I welded it and put it together. And then my dad had some friends that worked at a construction company. They had a bunch of leftover stainless. And I'd go out there and give them the dimensions what I want stuff sheared. And give them some money and a couple of bottles of liquor.
Damn.
And get all my steel pressed, just be pressed out, just a bunch of this, enough to make, 50. 100 of these pieces, 50 of these. And
no, I remember the shucker. The shucker was nice. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you won't cut yourself if you use a shucker.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, shucking an oyster is pretty gnarly. Like when you see them just slamming away with those knives. Yeah.
Well, you're just envisioning the worst thing that can happen to you. You're just like that knife going straight.
Yeah,
and they
straight
bang pretty hard down on that thing.
That's not easy to open them up. That's good though. But you would say you're 50-50 on the steamed or raw?
Yeah, I like them steamed and raw. All depends on where they come from and how salty they are.
Yeah. Where they come from is a big one.
Yeah. Pensacola's got some East Bay oysters that are salty. They're like Apalachicola. You don't even need any cocktail sauce or anything. You just like right out of the shell, just that salt water and oyster, just like
maybe a little cocktail sauce.
The
look he just gave you.
Yeah, that was.
Who would have thought when you look at that oyster? Oh, that looks tasty. You know,
No,
it
yeah.
don't. It really doesn't look that appetizing.
No, the fact that people started eating oysters is
That was a
mind-blowing.
ballsy
It's
first
such
person,
a
really.
bold move. That's stuck on an island going, there's nothing else here, and I've cracked the shell of this little thing.
The person literally's got to be starving.
You've
Then
got-
when they do that, they're like, check this out.
You
They're
would-
like,
Yeah,
the whole
I'm not
village
eating
is
it.
like,
Yeah.
nah.
No, we're not eating
He's
it.
like,
Yeah, that's starving level of, let's go for it.
And then you realize, oh, damn, that is good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, I used to go to Gary's with your dad, and y'all used to go there with him and sit in the back with the boys.
yep.
And they'd shuck oysters. Yeah, that was a fun time.
Mm-hmm.
We usually get them steamed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they
I'm more
drop
of a
'em.
steamed guy. I like them raw, but I'm more of a steamed guy. Even Rockefeller,
Yeah.
where it's like in the oven and you got a little like cheese or a
But
little
when you
Parmesan.
when you do the Rockapella, you got to marinate your spinach in ouzo or anisette.
Yeah,
a
gotta get
liqueur.
it. Gotta get it right.
Yeah, you got to marinate that for about a day or two. This is coming from the Greeks, where I got my recipe, and you put pimento in there and everything. But this Rockapella recipe is like
Do you think that oysters can be too big to eat? Like, don't sometimes you get like some oysters that are just they're just like slugs.
Yeah.
Or
No, yeah.
my cousin Reed. We were out shrimping one day, and we pulled up an oyster about that big, biggest oyster I'd ever seen.
Really?
And I said, I got to see how big this oyster is. So I always had a screwdriver on the boat. I got that thing open. He said, I bet you can't eat it. I said, I bet you can. And it was like,
Ugh.
I had to chew into it to get it all in there. But I got it all down. It was like,
That was hard to do, huh?
it was huge. It was
Oh,
huge.
dude, it's like a burger patty. You're just like a
Yeah,
chicken breast.
You're chewing it as you slide it in there.
Oh
and
my
it was
god,
like-
that sounds.
it was-
I
it was
love oysters,
massive.
and that just sounds.
Oh
bad.
man, I know one time I was hungover and thought I could handle oysters, and we went to Lee and Rick's, and first oyster was just this monster, and I was like, I can handle this. Wasted a whole bucket. Was like, I had took one bite, and I was like, this isn't happening like anymore. Like I cannot eat anymore. That was just, it can get you.
When we were skiing at Disney World, every once in a while, all the ski team would go over to Lee and Rick's and sit down and we'd eat.
Dad took his took mom for their first date to Lee and Rick's.
Yeah, that probably one of our nights going over there. But
Mm-hmm.
God, we'd go in there and we'd smash some oysters. I mean, a lot of shears. I mean, I don't know how many dozen we would eat, but it's just astronomical.
What's the dude you see? The dude when you walk into Lee and Rick's is the dude who set the record in like 1984 for eating the most buckets of oysters, and it's
So
like
many.
it's like I think it's I don't know what it is. It might be like
A lot.
I think it was like 72 buckets of oysters.
Oh God,
Is that
Is
that wrong? I don't know. Yeah, that
No,
sounds like
it's somewhere
something
close in
ridiculous.
that. Yeah,
that's insane. That's sick.
it is crazy, and even the amount of time it would have taken you to eat that many oysters, even if you were eating one every 5 seconds, it's still like 3 hours, like of just eating oysters straight. Like it's a lot.
I think you just put them in and let them slide down. Chunk.
Yeah, wham, wham, wham.
I gotta have
down.
saltines with mine.
You know, I love a good oyster shooter where they go with a little bit of the when they put the like Bloody Mary sauce on it, like in a shot glass, oyster, Bloody Mary sauce, maybe a little tequila shooter. That's a good one.
No,
Huh?
I
Never
think I
had
saw
it.
that. I think I saw that at Hooters one time.
That's
probably
not
right.
where you want to have oysters.
That's probably why I fell out of love with it.
I like Lee and Rick and then Gary's. So
Gary's
You
gonna
gotta go
throw it in the
when
butter.
you throw it in the butter, the garlic butter there, and
Yeah.
you're like,
You got to go to Claremont Oyster Bar here. It's they push the shells in same way you do.
Well,
Remember?
that's where
Oh yeah, we went up there.
we
then.
went up there.
Yeah.
I didn't have. You had some, but I didn't have any that day. I had a sandwich or something. But
Get
yeah,
up
that's
there.
why we went to lunch that one day. And there's not even hardly a sign when you walk in there. You know.
Oh yeah, it's a little
It's a little
a
bitty-
little hole in the wall, a little speakeasy
But-
oyster bar.
And then they got
Love
that
that.
big old deck out back. But
Yeah, they just redid that. Looks good out
yeah,
there.
I walked out there and looked at that deck.
Shout out Trampers too.
Yeah. Oh, that was good food up there though.
Make me hungry.
But Bob says, I didn't even see a name on that building. I know it was an oyster bar, but I didn't never see any name. Like a dog kennel next door. And then we go around the corner and there's a little bitty, like no bigger than a garage door opening. Go in the door there and it's like,
Yeah.
But that was
Claremont's got all the secret little ones, man.
Claremont's blown up, or it's been blown up. It's doing good. I like it now.
A lot better.
Where do we got?
I got a little trivia question for Paul, real quick.
Oh no.
All right, Paul.
Yeah.
You ready?
What up?
What is the oldest city in the USA?
Pensacola. Oh, in USA. If you would have said Florida, I'd say Pensacola.
It is. It's. You're right. That's the correct answer.
Everybody
Pensacola is.
Well, a lot of people think it's St. Augustine.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's St. Augustine,
but it's not. It's Pensacola, and you can look it up. I've looked it.
Well,
but a lot of people from St. Augustine are not happy about this stat.
Well, guess what? Our grandmother, when
Paul,
they
you got that right, dude.
They had an archaeological dig, and right across the street from my grandmother's house, they found a camp that proved that he was there before he was at St. Augustine.
Damn, so it dated the artifacts dated it back to...
It confirmed it because they tore down this house that was in this big triangle. I used to go swimming in their pool, but they tore it down and they did a dig there. Not a dig, but they were putting a new house and they run up on all this archaeological stuff. So they shut them down and went there and...
Couldn't dig anymore, huh?
Nope.
Yeah.
And they went in there and dug it up, and it was one of Ponce de Leon's campsites. Yeah. And that's where they proved that he was there before he was in St. Augustine.
That's really awesome.
And that's right across the street from my grandmother's house.
Pretty
right
much
there.
Bonifay Beach, right?
Well, down there on the bay.
Okay.
But
not far away.
Yeah, not far.
A few miles.
No,
not even.
Six or eight blocks from Bonifay Beach. But yeah.
I mean, since we're talking about historical stuff, give us the rundown on Bonifay, Florida. How did we get it? Why is our name attached? What was this?
Mariana Pindro Bonifay was our matriarch. She had 9 sons. She liked to sport and trick fuck, apparently, like we do. But she had an oil company. She had a brick company, a construction company.
Kind of a boss back in the day.
A riding stable. She was into real estate. She did a brick, like I said, a brick company down there on the East Bay.
Is that Mariana, Florida, too?
Yeah. And how that came about is 2 of her sons, when the railroad came through, both got on the railroad, and one of them went down, and when they built the railroad, and named it Mariana. And then another son went on down a little bit further and named it Bonifay. And that's how we got Mariana and Bonifay.
And the next one they named Two Egg.
Yeah, I know who did that, but yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's a good question.
But I also heard that it was because the Spaniards gave Mariana property in Florida because the Spaniards used to own Florida, and before America took it over, they were like, Mariana, you deserve some property for being what you are or whatever.
I think so.
And then they whatever happened and America acquired it, but she owned that land, and then they named it what it was.
There was a hotel in Pensacola called New World Landing, and it only had like 10 or 12 rooms, and they were named after all the prominent families of Pensacola that had started Pensacola. And for my 10th anniversary, my mother-in-law got my wife and I a room there in the Bonifay room, and it had a big old plaque on the wall that told about everything that she did and
damn, that's sick.
All her accomplishments and everything. So, and it was all done up in real antique, real swanky. I mean, it was a high dollar place to stay. It's where all the movie stars would stay when they come into town. It was down by Palafox Pier.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm talking about. In fact, right across the street from Trader John's, which was where the Blue Angels all hung out.
Oh, speaking of some Blue Angels.
Yeah.
That was really sick. Paul was with us when Shane got to ride into Blue Angels.
Yeah, I got to go through the training with you. How to hold your breath. And
the kick breathing.
Yeah, do the kick breathing and keep the blood in your head. And
Yeah, you're pulling so many G's to where you have to like learn this this kick breathing. So you like flex your leg muscles, flex your butt, and flex your stomach, and you go like kick.
So
And you relax your arms.
So for a Double or Nothing one year, one of Parks' contest, Red Bull got the winners. There's 3 of us. There was a big air winner, a best trick winner, and then Parks actually got to tag along just because it was your event, which is sort of bullshit. But one of the prizes was we get to go up in a Blue Angels jet, and
The best prize ever for any
it was
wakeboard
the
prize.
best prize ever.
There's no amount of money.
I think
that's
the year before you got to go on the NASCAR. You got to ride with the NASCAR. I think Andrew Atkins and
you won on the
Felix
right year.
I won
Shane.
on the right year, and I got to do this. And I remember kind of being like, "This is cool," but I mean, I've flown in planes before, and Uncle Paul's with us, and he's like shedding tears. Like he's like, I could visually see him amazed and being like, "This is the craziest thing and coolest thing you guys will ever get to do." And I was like, "Paul, do you want to take my flight? I don't even care."
I'll give you $1,000 for your ride.
No, but I even remember debating it and being like, "Dude, like if this means that much to you, Paul, I want you to go do it." Like
you had no idea what you were in for.
I had no idea what I was in for.
So it's you, Sean Murray, and me.
You, yeah.
Yep.
And then immediately, as soon as we were in the jet and taking off, I was like, "Whoa!"
Well, I knew y'all were screwed because I treated it like we're talking to the pilots the night before, and I'm telling them, I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do all this crazy stuff, like give it to me, we're all out there.
Yeah.
And he told me, he goes, I literally have my hand on your neck, and I could squeeze it and make you pass out at any time in that jet within about 4 seconds.
For sure.
And I was like, all right, yeah, well, okay.
Yep.
And so after that, I treated it like surgery almost. Like I didn't drink or eat even a sip of water or anything after 12 because I didn't want anything in my stomach. Shane and Murray are just drinking Gatorade and like eating donuts and stuff in the morning. I go, y'all are screwed.
Well, that's different. You went first, which it's now like 4 hours later by the time I get to go. So it's like I had to put something in my stomach because I was like starving.
And you and Murray both puked in the
Murray went first, but Murray definitely was like eating and drinking tons of, but I went up and I puked in the jet up in the air, and I puked once whenever we got on, as soon as we touched down on land. Like, but I mean, I passed out, I think 3 or 4
I passed
times.
out cold. Yeah. I pulled 7.5 G's for about like 11 seconds.
Yeah.
It's called the graduation maneuver. You pull the horizon line. You're going like about 500 miles an hour, and you pull 7.5 G's for about like 18 to 20 seconds once you do the full thing. And he said no one graduates this.
No, I told him I told him I'm not even into the graduation. We didn't even attempt it because I already fainted like 3 times.
It's got the video of y'all. He's got a camera of y'all. Bart's sitting there. You doing all right? Yeah.
Totally. I mean, like you're right, Uncle Paul. Like I was seriously sitting there, and honestly, I wouldn't have known I passed out unless I watched it myself.
No, that's exactly what I was.
He goes, ready, hit it. 1G, 2G, kick. He's all keep breathing. I'm going keep.
Yeah. Yeah, and a couple of seconds later, I'm back.
And as soon as you
started looking around, I'm like, "Whoa, that was awesome!" I had no idea I was out.
It's the craziest thing. Like
it is honestly the craziest thing that I've ever experienced, like in my time, bar none. Like nothing even remotely close.
And I love the fact that these dudes are flying a jet, pulling 7 Gs.
Without no G suits.
Looking in the rearview mirror, watching us, because as soon as we faint, then they have to release it. But we're already fainting, and we're not like wimps. You know what I mean? Like we can handle some shit. And these guys are talking to us while we're doing everything possible in our whole body not to faint. They're talking, flying a jet, and watching us in the rearview mirror. And they're totally fine. Yeah, it's the most crazy
and
thing.
And they do not wear G suits.
No G-suits.
Thunderbirds wear G suits.
Air Force wear G suits, but that is insane that they got a female fighter pilot now.
The Blue Angels?
Yeah.
Damn.
They got one that flies Bad Albert, and then they got one
DEI,
that flies. Got one that flies.
These guys, every one of they told me like their workout, like every one of the dudes was like over 6'3",
He says they do no heavy lifting.
No cardio.
Or no, that's what it is.
No
Sorry,
cardio.
I'm dyslexic. So yeah, no cardio and only heavy lifting. They got to stay in shape.
But on spurts, like they work out hard for like 15 to 30 seconds, like
Right.
and
Well,
then
they don't
stop.
want their blood vessels to get like really big because once you do that, if you're like really into cardio, your blood vessels are bigger. If you're just doing so much cardio and you're like more prone to pass out, the G's actually pull the blood faster. So it was just crazy to see. Like you're saying, Shane, like we were in the air for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, after that, I wasn't even hungry for like 4 hours. I was like literally almost sick, you know?
Yeah, no,
it was
it's
crazy. And so that dude took
three
two
trips,
more,
yeah.
took you up and then took Murray up or vice
Totally
versa.
fine, like-
that was crazy.
You know, the whole group out there, they were such a professional group of young men and women. It's amazing how professional they were. And their, their manner and
No,
just the way they treated everybody. They were just like
They're 100% all-American.
Oh yeah, it was just amazing how professional they were about everything they do.
And you've watched them fly over your heads for years out there, huh?
Oh yeah, and I drove y'all out in my 30 Chevy that morning.
Yeah. We showed up in style.
Yeah.
What year was that thing?
30.
1930 Chevy.
1930 Bonnie and Clyde car.
Damn.
Did you ever turn that thing into a hot rod?
It's almost there. It's in my garage right now, but my builder quit building on it, so I got to find another builder to finish it. But it's still there.
Yeah.
I want the Jenny B to.
That's the name of it? Jenny
Yeah,
B. What's your grandma? What's your mom's
my
name?
mom.
Yep.
I want it to come back to life, and it's got an engine out of a race car, 450 horse. It's got got a lot of stuff to it.
Sounds like it.
I mean, it's got a Dana Trans Am, like a $2,000 Positrack rear end. It's got disc brakes all the way around it. It's going to be a ride. Got a Mustang 2 front end with power rack and pinion.
You're kidding me, man. I seen that thing right next in the comic books, right next to the Sea Monkeys. You see that over there?
Yeah.
It's White Lightning. Get some tires on those things, man. There's a pizza cutters.
It's a pizza cutters.
That's my Days of Confused quote right there.
That's good.
Hey, Paul, you brought up some gifts to the Bonifay Banter episode.
I did.
Actually, this is really cool. Uncle Paul brought my first CWB, my first pro model wakeboard that I ever had when I was 14 years old. And when I say first one, it's like literally the first one. The serial numbers are 0000001.
Yep.
Did they really think they were going to sell that many boards? Where you need like that many?
You got to go in depth. You're like, who knows?
Let's get like
Parks Bonifay's
100,000.
first board. We might
You
sell
know,
100,000 of these things.
Let's not put a ceiling
I don't
on
know
it.
how you acquired it, but your dad had it, and it was at the house. And after he passed away, it was in my room, and I said, I got to keep this because the number was so special.
Yeah,
The number one,
Yeah.
the first one.
100%. That's probably one of the coolest boards.
You probably rode the second. You probably didn't ride that one.
I never
don't know.
rode that for sure.
But I even asked you one day, I said, what do you think this board's worth? I put it online for sale. You said,
70? 70 bucks?
No.
No.
I know.
If the sun hits it, nice.
But I just thought it'd be neat to
No, it is really cool.
to bring it to park. Cause,
means a lot. Thank you for
put it
bringing
up
that
on
up.
his wall up here. His first signature board.
She'll be in the Banner studio for a
I'll
little
try to
while.
stash it into the.
And then I brought you another one, the little monster.
Oh yeah, it's right behind you, right there. Yep,
Yeah,
the little monster
water ski.
Billy Spencer ski, huh?
Yeah, that came out in the '60s, early '60s.
Roland
Hilliard was,
and
but those are two. I mean, that was the ski back then. Got a little concave to it.
did you actually? Did you buy the ski later? Or did you always? Is this one of your old ones?
That was at Bonifay, our Bonifay house over there. But
I mean, in Winter Haven, you can
Yeah,
come
in
across
Winter-
that ski pretty.
Yeah.
Like you can
but
find that.
Yeah, you can probably find that ski around, but you
Only
don't
in
find
winter.
many.
Yeah.
I saw some that they had an art thing down at the ski show. They had all these things set up, and they had some older skis like that and redone. They were
Sick.
selling them.
That's cool.
What's your favorite ski from all over the years?
That one right
That
there.
one right there,
That,
Little
that one
Monster?
right there. That was
What year do you think that is?
1960 or 61. I mean, so it's So it's
that's
old.
cool.
It's 60-something years old. Don't have a fin on it, but
Hey, Paul, did you ever fly flat wing kites? Like not the delta wing kites?
No,
like
I
that
didn't.
one, that shit looked crazy.
yeah.
It looked dangerous as hell.
Your dad pulled me on his Delta 13.6, and I'm going on there. I'm up there, and he's like, he's driving the boat like he's driving his truck, like, and all of a sudden, no tailwind. I go into a dive, and I'm, and I hit the water. Right about the time I hit the water, he sees me, and he spins the boat around, and I crash, and I go through the damn A-frame. I just got skinned up a little bit. He come back. He thought he'd kill me.
Damn, I didn't know. Yeah, I thought that kind of crash would carry that's
I was about at 75 feet.
really, and just nose dived it straight in.
Just like I lost all the way. Yeah, he wasn't paying attention. He's looking out there, going, no. And I'm going down there, Pete. And he was like, "Well, nothing I could do." He said, "Oh God, I thought I'd kill you."
Oh God,
Did they not have pin back then? They not pull pin.
Well, I wasn't nobody in the boat there.
Did you do a dry like a beach start?
I did trick skis.
Okay, so you would come off on trick skis and then take off the.
Yeah,
I want to do that, man. That sounds really fun.
cool.
So you would go up, you would take off the beach on trick skis, kite would get wind, you would take off, and then you would go up to how high would you go up? 200, 300 feet?
Yeah, you're on a 300-foot rope.
Yeah,
You
and
go
then
250.
you
but
cut away and then just fly back to the beach.
Yeah, you pull that lever in, pull your bar in, boom, and you're sitting in a little swing seat. Comes out, just like a swing set. You're sitting in a little seat that comes down.
No other straps. You're just literally sitting in the swing set.
Yeah, but you're strapped to. You got a seat belt on, but it's just like a swing, little swing set, little plastic.
We're gonna have to modify this a little bit, but yeah.
It ain't flying the prone position. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got two ropes that come down and into a little plastic swing seat. You're sitting on this seat and you got a seat belt.
Oh, that's safe.
And then you got your trick skis on, flat on the bottom, round on the end.
I think I saw that. I think seeing them doing that at the Bonifay Water Sports in that little edit that we watched earlier.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think I would see like Dad would take
Dad would take
like
pull him up.
I've seen like y'all doing tandems in that, and like no one's wearing helmets or anything. No one's like y'all are just like taking people who walk up and give y'all $5 or something to go on a sketchy ass kite ride. I love it.
The parasail riders we had were a trip. I mean, we
this right here, right?
Yeah, this is it. Yeah,
that looks like a Moy's kite there.
So
that's more of a Moy's.
So you had more of a.
And that's ski. Is that ski
that's
one?
Ski one. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The fishing dog.
Damn, well, look at the beach start. That's
yeah.
And then, but then the kite would do the same thing. Kind of, you just go up and they have floats, and you just land back. We got to start doing that.
There's another little bit.
Whoa, look at the little swing.
See,
yeah, pretty much.
He's sitting. You see him sitting in the swing.
I can see it.
Sitting in a swing seat.
That's really
so
cool.
sketchy. I love it.
That side
What is that?
winder,
What are y'all sitting on a stand up paddleboard?
that's like two surfboards on there. That was
that worked too.
Yeah, that you could land on the water and take off on the water.
Did y'all fabricate all this?
I don't know where your dad got that. That's what I used to pull the parasail with. That boat right there.
It looks like a rat pack right there.
135 on a sidewinder.
Bunch of jailbirds right there.
Hey,
it does look like jailbirds with the striped suits.
I'd come in and I'd buzz the dock. And I'd pull up to the beach and slide. I'd go by the dock, run about 48, and trim that motor and slide up to the beach. They get out of the boat and they say, the boat ride was as exciting as the parasail ride was.
What are these kites right here?
Those look black. Those are the old Delta wings there. They're not
Is
flats.
that kind of what you were talking about with the jet skis?
That's what Pete had, like a 13-inch Delta wing.
Dude, look at him.
It wasn't a Moy's.
It looks pretty kind of manageable and kind of like it's pretty easy, huh? It's not super.
Yeah,
hard.
it's like flying a Moy's kite, but it just you don't have the sail area. It's only.
I did a bunch of tandem with Malcolm down at the.
But that's only like 13.6.
Right.
Little small kite.
Those kites look sketchy.
The Moy's are 27-foot wingspans and 30
That's what I
foot.
need.
But yeah, that's pretty sick. I love hanging. Laverne Gregory and Roland Davies, one of the best in the world. They were the first ones to take me up 1,000 feet on a kite.
1,000 feet.
Oh yeah, that was a trip.
Did you do the hot beach takeoffs?
Yeah,
Like all the rope going out?
yeah, and then you kick your leg.
Damn, that looks sketchy. No one knows that like what you're doing on this. So the boat would take off. They probably have like 500 feet of rope, all in like these big coils, and the kite's just sitting there. And the boat, tell the boat to start going. Boat starts going. It's probably going like how far? When the rope comes tight, 15, 20 miles an hour.
They're doing probably like 10 to 15 miles an hour going out.
Bro, this rope is going. And they're picking up the kite and they're just like white knuckling, dude.
Yeah.
They're just like getting ready. And the rope's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It's like some like TikTok dramatic video you see. And dude, and it's just like, it's like the rubber bands is getting stretched tighter. And then boom, and they just, it comes tight and they just jump.
And then right there when it's getting ready to hook up and all the ropes out, you kick your leg. And that lets them know that I'm at the end. I think they pull back just a little bit.
And you
release. And once they see you grab it, pulling the kite, then they power on up. So it's not snatching it right out of your hand.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the initial pull and then you.
Yeah, but when you kick that leg, it's like there's only a coil or two left in here. So they come back. And
that's why they kick the leg. I always remember seeing that.
Kick the leg.
And that's when they back off?
They back off just a hair so it don't yank the kite out of your hand.
I got you.
And then you come off of there and there's so much sail area. It's just like once you leave the ground, like it don't take nothing to go up, and then they just bring it up easy and you're.
Dude, they fly off.
And
I remember seeing Dave Reinhardt getting like in a lean lock, just like in Detroit, just like up and just like, whoa, but he ended up pulling out of it. But like there's some sketchy. That's the sketchiest way to fly.
But you got a 3-part harness. You got 2 up top and 1 down, and you got a brake handle on the left and 1 on the right. And the one on your right, you put it in halfway, and it lets out another 6 or 8 inches of rope. So it gives you.
So it's a little bit of a break for you, huh? To let the kite get air.
Yeah. Once you're
lean locked.
Once you're maxed out of where you're at.
Yeah.
It keeps you from getting too much air and it locking out on you.
Right.
Then you go up, and then once you max out here, put it in halfway, and then it lets out another 6 or 8 inches and gives you a higher nose angle. Then you max out there. When you max out there, then you put it all the way, and it drops that rope from the top, and you're on the bottom. Then you just go up and max out. And then when you're ready to cut loose, pull the bar in, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's a lost art. Like, there's not a lot of people doing hang gliding.
The trick ski, the whole hot takeoff, that sounds unappetizing to me. But the trick ski, kind of like little takeoff.
Yeah, I like that.
That sounds kind of nice.
Yeah, a little easier.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Flat wing kites look so sketchy back in the day.
They sound so much fun though. It's like.
All right, boys. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this episode up, man.
Let's do some plugs. Let's do some plugs.
What we are giving away to all the top shelf members on this episode is Black Bonifay song that's unreleased. Actually, we're gonna release that to all Patreon members. That's not
all
just
Patreon.
all Patreon
I think so, yeah.
members get that one. I think we're gonna give away $100 Duvin gift certificate on the spin to win wheel. But yeah, man, dude, Paul, thanks for coming out, dude. If y'all are out there, like, subscribe. It really fuels us in the algorithm. We're gonna have a bunch of photos. You brought up some photos of you back in high school, some big old glasses on. So there is going to be some cool stuff to watch if you are just going beyond listening. And
don't be scared to call Paul Bonifay for the off the chain sunset dinner pontoon cruise because he'll take care of you.
We'll put the flyer on the
also, one of the Patreon members is going to win a dinner night.
That's right.
And let's give another little shout out to Bob's GoFundMe.
Yeah, if you're out there, Bob Sitchell's, he's going through a battle with pancreatic cancer right now. We just did a fundraising here in Claremont, which Paul came up to just a couple of days ago. But we're going to put a GoFundMe on. We still haven't really had to hit the goal, and he needs all the support. Anything can help, man. Bob's a great dude, like you said it, Shane. Just a true wakeboarder, and would do anything for anyone. So we got to do it for him.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad everybody's pulling together for him.
Yeah,
it's always tough, and it's hard. You can't do it by yourself. You need a lot of backing.
You need the community.
Yeah, you need your friends.
So if you can give anything, donate.
Yeah, that'd be
It'll
sweet.
go a long way.
Is there anything you want to say to the people out there, Paul, before you hit the road?
I gotta hit the road and I gotta pee.
You got to pee. Yeah,
All
baby.
right.
That's what he's
Well, that's
saying.
going to be
Yeah.
episode 3.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Paul Bonifay.
I'm looking forward to coming back and doing another one with you.
We'll do it soon, buddy.
All right, here's the outro. Here's the outro to Black Sheep Bonifay. Thanks, Uncle Paul.
Thanks.
Black Sheep Bonifay. Well, you be careless and drive fast and do all that other fucked up shit that you always do. And I'll see you when I see you. Alligator.